Good afternoon. Yes, I'm back. It has been entirely too long since the previous stream, but I have returned. I can't remember the last time I did a stream. It was like right at the start of the month. But yes, last weekend I was off at a convention. I will get photos, just not today, because I've got other things I need to focus on right now. And by other things I need to focus on, well, that's the subject of today's stream, which is going to be Megaman, in case you couldn't guess from the heading. Yes, today we will be taking on the Deadly Cutsman, you know, the legend, and I've got to get my earphones. Well, actually, no, I don't need to do that. I'm fine. But just turn the sound down on my end. Yeah, so I'm going to do this a little bit differently today, and you'll see what I mean. So, we get this started. So, I am going to be playing the NES for a bit. Well, if it decides to work, for some reason it has decided it can't be asked. So, I don't know what's going on with that. It was working earlier, and now it's just like... Oh no, I see, I paused it, that's why it's not working. But, okay, here's the cartridge I'm going to be playing. I did show this one off in Game Boy Filler. I'm going to be returning to this one today. You can't really see it, and to be fair, even I can't really tell what's on it. It's got Megaman games on it, and we will be seeing some today. How many? I don't know, because there's a reason why I can't guarantee that I'll be able to do them all today. And, okay, well, there's some issue going on with the streaming thing. That's a great sign. Anyway, let's have a look at this list again. So I've changed this up a bit. So now, next to each game, I've put a little thing here, and it tells you what stream each game was featured on. So, for instance, Bubble Ghost was featured in Part 5 of Game Boy Filler. So, so the frames were skipping. Well, it seems to be okay now, I think. But yeah, Tetris was in Part 1, Tailgater was in Part 7. These two games were in the previous stream. So you'll notice, like, here the killer streams in sort of red, and the filler streams in this sort of, like, yellowish colour, I guess. I wasn't really thinking of what to do with the colours. I just wanted to make sure I could tell the difference. But yeah, so Mega Man, you know, it's going up against some pretty stiff competition. You know, Super Mario Land, Tetris, Mr. Chin's Gourmet Paradise, of course, and let's not forget about John Goodman as Fred Flintstone. You know, Mega Man, he's got to go up against the likes of that. He has to go up against John Goodman, Peter Weller, the entirety of Hong Kong. I mean, can Mega Man really topple an entire nation? Also, just gonna have to down a bit of cough syrup. There we go, much better. Yeah, so if you're wondering why I didn't do a midweek stream, it's because I was off sick. I unfortunately came down with a severe case of clussy fever, and I was unable to do a midweek stream, as I just wasn't in the state to do so. Game Dude? Did he ever do a video on Hong Kong? Anyway, yes. So as you can see, your true classics like Ms. Pac-Man, Muhammad Ali Boxing, which we saw last time, Crazy Castle, oh yes, and working all the way down to the likes of Xenon 2 Mecha Blast, Castlevania The Adventure, Go-Go Tank, and Castellian, all the way down to the Tasmania games. Surely we won't be seeing any games on that level today. We certainly won't be here. Okay, so I'm going to do something a bit different for this next game. So, the next game on the list, I wasn't going to do this next, but, well, things have happened since the last stream. So, as you can see, this is Mega Man on the NES. Now, you might wonder, why am I covering a NES game on here when this is a series of Game Boy games? Oh, there's a lot of achievements. Yeah. Why am I covering a NES game on a series about Game Boy games? Well, there is a reason. Because I want to play this game for a bit as a point of comparison. Like, I don't normally do this for the series, but I'll make an exception for Megaman because, well, it's Megaman. You know, pretty big name back in the day. Well, actually, it's still a pretty big name now, to be fair. But, yeah. Oh, wait, is there no game audio? I messed up, sorry. There we go, I fixed it. Okay, let me know how the volume levels are, because I think that should be about right. So yes, Mega Man for the Nintendo Entertainment System. I do actually have this on Famicom, but it's a Pirate Multicard version. Not that it matters, I think it's basically the same as the real version anyway. But yes, I'm doing this right now just so you can see the difference. So here we are going up against the Deadly Cutsman. See just how deadly he really is. Ooh, that was pretty deadly. I haven't played this recently, so you'll have to excuse me. I have beaten all of the NES games, but not in quite some time. I do kind of want to go back and like try to beat all of the NES games on stream. I don't think that's going to happen for the Game Boy games. I'm not as familiar with them, for one. I never played through them, but... Well, you'll see. You'll see. But yeah, so the first Mega Man game on the NES, kind of classic. It was arguably one of the first truly great platformers for the NES. You know, this was 1987, and... Yeah, like, this was still fairly early days. You want to turn the game audio up? I'll see if I can do that for you now. Yeah, that should be good. Your Cutman theme, classic. You know, like, this is the only Mega Man level you ever played? Ooh. You gotta fix that. But I'm just like, you know, let's see how... Should I play this for a credit? Like, play until I get game over, or should I just, like, play a level? I'm not sure. Oh yeah, also, remember Mega Man was, or, like, Mega Man 1 was the game that had those point tokens that don't really do anything? I don't think I don't think the tokens actually do anything. Like, I never understood that. And clearly, no one at Capcom did either, because they scrapped that after the first one. Ooh, also I forgot about the slowdown. But, yeah, I'm a bit rusty on this, I think. But I have spent a bit of time playing the Game Boy versions off stream, so I'm not going into them blind. I often do for games in the series. But I'm like, I don't really want to do that for Mega Man. Mega Man, I feel like I need to have at least a little bit of experience. Here we go. Yes, we will get to the Game Boy version. Ooh, there we go. Yeah, that's basically the only way to get past that without getting hit. Either have Iceman's weapon so you can freeze it, or, yeah, just use the turbo. Because otherwise, you're basically going to take a hit there. And those things do, like, I think at least a third of your health bar. Ooh, here we go. But yeah, like I say, I'm only showing off this NES Mega Man just more for comparison's sake. So that when I get to the Game Boy version, you'll, well, you can see what it's about. Plus, Cutman's just being a dick. Yeah. See, they weren't kidding about it being the Deadly Cutsman, because sometimes you just decide to be an arsehole for no reason. Well, you know what? Fuck this. I'm just gonna just... See, I should have practiced on this game. Oh, trust me. Yeah, like I say, there's a very good reason why I'm playing this version first. Not that it matters, because I'm getting destroyed in this version as well. Cutman has decided he's just going to be a complete arsehole today. I don't know what it is. Whenever I play games on the stream, they're either way easier than usual, or they're like 10 times harder than normal. Usually Cutman ends up being like the easiest boss. But, yeah, obviously when they wrote that episode of Captain N, they hired a future version of me to write it. Also, yeah, I do apologise if my voice is off today. Clearly, my illness has also affected my game-playing ability. See, the problem is, the fact that the bosses have invulnerability as well doesn't exactly help. I may as well just gone up against a Megaman first. Probably would have been easier. Of course I'm going to stand there like a dick. There we go. See, I can do it when the game decides to let me win. Ugh. Fine, you know what? I have a point to prove. I'm going to say I've got a point to prove. I mean, here we go. Great. Here we go. So welcome to a Megaman stage. And you will want Cutman's weapon for this. And, yeah, the achievements can basically sod off. Like, I never liked achievements where it's like, okay, make the game artificially harder to get this achievement. It's like, no, I'm not doing that. I've got better things to do in my life. No. Like, I'll do the achievements I feel like doing. I don't feel like doing those ones. I don't know if that's just me being lazy or if that's just like... No, I'm just like... I could do anything else in my time. Yeah. Like I said, I'm rusty with this game, so you have to excuse me being shit. Yeah, we'll just give you this screen again. See, after the first game, they got rid of the point tokens, because they realised no one actually wanted them. It's like, they may as well just be like, used Boyzone CDs. It's like, well, they're worth just as much. Okay, here we go. I mean, I could get the weapon thing, but I'm not going to bother. Here we go. Here we go. Oh. Also, the controls in the first game were a little bit slippery in a way that the sequels were not. It's a bit weird. Also, yeah, the enemies, like, spawn into the ladder, so you can't really use that. Oh, no, which way you... Well, I seem to recall you can't go right, because there's a block that gets in the way and you can't avoid it. But yeah, it's like there, like I slipped off the platform, which is something that doesn't happen in the sequels, because... In the sequels, you just stop immediately, and in this one, you don't. Someone really liked this enemy. I mean, the soundtrack is classic, though. So yeah, this weapon, you need Gutsman's weapon to get that. I haven't bothered to get that, so... But maybe I'll have a go at Gutsman's level in a bit. Just because... Also, yeah, these things, you cannot kill them with a Mega Buster. Like, you literally have to use Cutman's weapon for it. And naturally, the game refuses to give me any weapon items. Oh, yeah. I also forgot it does that classic move of whenever you change... Oh. Yeah, whenever you change out the thing, it's like... Oh. Yeah, you can't, you have to grab the ladder again. Yep, there we go. Get the timing down. Hooray! Were there any enemies on this bit? I don't think there were. So yeah, there was like a health pickup early in the level, but I know that if you miss that, well, so you need that platform generator to not die, I think. And since it appears before you can get that thing anyway, it's pointless. Like maybe if your pixel perfect, but I don't think that really helps. Yeah, I can wait here all day until this thing despawns. You want to talk about worst video game antagonists in history? Like that. Like, what am I supposed to do there? It's like, thing happened to, like, clip you so you died. So basically, if you don't have Iceman's weapon here, you're fucked. You basically just have to pray you get a good pattern. That's about it, really. Yeah, like that. Like, it did a high jump too early, so I couldn't run under it. See, now I'm just getting the bad pattern over and over. Maybe this? Maybe you can cheese it? Yeah, like there. Sometimes it'll do a low jump twice because it's an arsehole. Okay, you know what? Let's try Gutsman's level just for the hell of it, because a lot of people struggle with this bit. Yeah, I'm just going to blame all of this on my illness, just because I can. You know, I'm like, you know what? It's not my game playing, it's closely fever. I don't know. Has anyone played Megaman recently? Like, any of them? I imagine some people probably have played the Game Boy game recently, and there is a reason for that. Because, I was... okay, I was actually messing about with this stupid fan, because the room suddenly got too warm. And, I couldn't move my thumb back to the controller quickly enough. So I'll do Mulligan. See, I like Mega Man, but I must admit I'm not a huge fan of the first one. Like, Mega Man 1 is a very rough game, in a way that none of the sequels are. Like, Mega Man 2 is also a bit rough around the edges, just because of how unbalanced all the weapons are. But, yeah, I'd say by the time we got to the third game, that's where you get to the true classics, I think. Mega Man 1 is a great game for 1987, but there are better games like it that sort of, yeah, sort of came out. Yeah, and fuck whoever designed the achievements for this, because I'm like, you're really thinking about waste my time, not you. Oh yeah, let's actively make the game worse to get this achievement. It's like, no, I'm not doing that. Yeah, I don't think this thing works on this. I think this one you just have to use the Mega Buster. Think about Mega Man, you have no idea if a weapon's going to work or not until you use it. Unless it's the metal blades, because those work on pretty much everything. Ninja Kun is better? That is... yeah, that's the first time I've heard that take. I'm not going to lie. Point to originality. Also, yeah, the spikes are instant death in this, which is something they changed in all the sequels. Because, yeah, in Mega Man 1, if you touch the spikes at all, you die. Even if you've got invulnerability, you still die for some reason. It's a bit like the spike bug in Sonic 1, where it's like, okay, it's not supposed to do this, but it does it because they haven't figured out how to do it yet. I mean, Ninja Kun is a good game, but honestly, this is probably better. But yeah, look at that literally took off like a third of the health bar. Anyway. We are not here to play Mega Man on the NES. Let me go to what we actually came here to see. And get this to work. And also tell the Game Boy's battery to go fuck itself. Like, I may as well just take the thing out. The problem is, I think you need a soldering iron to, like, change... like, it's one of those where you need a soldering iron to replace the battery, and that's not happening. Okay? Nintendo can blow me if it thinks I'm going to do that. Okay? It's about future-proof the thing and make it so you can easily replace the battery like a lot of pirate multicarts do. Here's about I don't care. and I came here to play some Mega Man on Game Boy. Anyway. Yes, let's do it. There is a reason why I showed off the NES version. And I think at least one person knows why I played that version first. Assuming this works. Just gonna enjoy myself a nice biscuit as you enjoy this theme song. Okay. No, it's the GameCube battery. Like, the GameCube battery died recently, so I have to go back and replace it. But I'm not doing that because you need a soldering iron, and I don't know how you do that. I'm like, I am not an electrician. But yes, I will eventually end up ranking all of these games. I think I'll try to anyway. Though I can't guarantee I'll be able to rank all of them. You will see why as we go. So, yeah. So, like, Mario Land 2, Wario's Blast, I haven't ranked these games yet. So let's go to Rockman World 1. So I think the European version of this game has a custom colour palette, but the other versions don't. And since this is the Japanese version, I'm going to just have to apply my own colour palette to this one. Hey, it's at least this one has a theme song. NES version didn't have a title theme. From 1991. Yeah, so first question, where's Gutsman? Like, you turn the game on and then all of a sudden... Anyway. Yeah. So we've got Cutsman, Iceman, Fireman, and Electman. So firstly, it's missing 2 of the bosses. So good job there. So, okay, firstly, let's try Cutman, because anyone who's played Mega Man on the NES knows that Cutman is always the first one you go up against, because, you know, logic dictates, well, you know, you are Rockman, and therefore, you know, Rock is a move in Rock, Paper, Scissors, and, well, Cutman is effectively Scissors Man, and Rock beats Scissors, so therefore, you would always want to pick Rock, because, well, that just makes sense. Oh yeah, also, I think they, like, added a few enemies from Mega Man 2 in this. So yeah, this bit. some screens, I swear you basically have to tank a hit to get anywhere. Like, dodging some of these enemies is not happening. And not to mention, some of them take, like, a crazy amount of damage as well. Like, that thing, it looks like something that would die in, like, 2 hits, but instead it takes about 50. So, first thing I should point out, this game was not made by Capcom at Shock Horror. Which is kind of weird, actually, because they did make Game Boy games before this. Like, Gargoyle's Quest, I think, was released about a year before this game was, and that was a Capcom internal game. So, you'd think, yeah, maybe we should make, you know, you'd think Mega Man would be kind of a high priority project for them. Apparently not, so much so they didn't even bother making it themselves. They just handed it off to the schmucks that made Solar... What was that game? Solar Striker? Ugh. I mean, you know it's a great song when you have that. Oh yeah, the people that made Solar Striker. What are you going to do next? Hire the people that made Boxel? May as well. Also, you can't even tell where you can stand in this. Also, yeah, the controls are a lot more sluggish in this. Like, you'll notice that I move quite a bit slower. And also the jump height seems to be maybe 2/3 of the jump from, you know, the NES game. Well, this looks like a black and white Mac and Soft game, let's say that. Yeah, this is Mac and Soft before they had attempted to do colour. Because Microsoft just, they didn't know how to use it. I mean, they eventually kind of did, but yeah. It feels like a Microsoft game, though. I have to say that much. Like, if you told me this was a Microsoft game, I'd believe you. You know, maybe that's a bit unfair. I mean, this game does at least function as a game. But yeah, like, you see how close to the edge of the screen you have to stand, and yeah, like, the collision detection just doesn't make sense. Like here, yeah, like I bouncing my head off that ceiling, even though my head is nowhere near it. Like, the collision detection in this game makes no sense. Also, yeah, good luck hitting anything in this without taking, like, a ton of hits as well. Like, the levels in this game are all kind of unnecessarily hard in ways that the original wasn't. Here we go, we could just do a Mexican standoff here. But like I say, again, not made by Capcom, this was made by, what was it, Minakuchi Engineering? Like I say, I think the only other game I've played from them so far in this series is Solar Striker, which again, was not a very good game. It was very utilitarian. Which, I mean, to be fair, is not a word I would use to describe this, but I can think of plenty of other words. I mean, good luck even avoiding half the enemies. Yep, and of course this prick had to show up again. Because the game wasn't hard enough about that, obviously. So this is like, they thought they were making Metal Man stage for Mega Man 2, and just got confused. Yeah, they were engineers, but unfortunately it turned out that they were locomotive engineers, not video game engineers. Yeah, they got a bit confused with the job description. Okay, so here's the trick to Mega Man 1 on Game Boy. Do not play against Cutman first, even though it's the obvious choice, because in the NES version, he is supposed to be the first boss you go up against. In this game, they basically said, fuck common sense, and decided that you had to go up against Electman first. I don't know why they did that, but we'll give it a go. Also, this is where, like, because you notice how far I was off that ledge. Like, I should have fallen off the ladder, but, like, because the collision detection in this is so weird. Yep, and of course you got the, what was it called, the Yoku blocks. There we go. First try. I mean, this does have the feel of, like, you know, this is like if the man that made Ghosts and Goblins wanted to make, like, Kaizo Mega Man. In fact, yeah, Kaizo Mega Man, I think, is the perfect phrase to describe this game. Because, like, there are no moments like that in the NES games. I know the first game is known for being quite difficult. It wasn't this fucking difficult, though, I can tell you that. And anyone who says otherwise, yeah, go back and actually play both of these games and you'll see the difference. This is like they wanted to make Getting Over It with Mega Man. I mean, I have got the sound turned down, which probably doesn't really help in this case. Also, I swear they changed the timing on the screen as well. It's like, well, mess with the timing just so you miss the jump because we're arseholes. Like, if the timing was at least consistent, it wouldn't be so bad. But, like, you'll notice on this screen the platforms show up quicker, but because the ones on the other screen show up slower, you end up missing the jump because you mistime it, because the game is literally programmed to make you do that. Again, this is like... Again, Kaizo Mega Man is how I would describe it. Because you notice how much slower these platforms transition. Like, yeah, if Bennett Foddy made a Mega Man... Well, no, because, you know, Bennett Foddy, you don't die in that game. At least, you know, no matter how much you get hit, you don't die. Whereas this game is cool enough to have a health bar that's, like, maybe half the size of the original. And the health power-ups in this game are actually very stingy, far more so than the original. You can kill, like, 50 enemies and not get a single health power-up. That's how bad it is. They'll give you tons of weapon power-ups, which is useless because no one's ever going to beat a level of this. Well, no sane person, anyway. But, also, yeah. I mean, I know the colour scheme here isn't great, but, you know, it's like, what are you going to do? It's probably about what this game deserves, really. In fact, let's take a bet. Let's see how many enemies it takes to kill an enemy before a health power-up appears. So that's 2. Actually, no, it's more like 6 if you count the cloud enemies. So, okay, let's see. 6, 7. So that's 8. So we're going up, so we're going up by 2 every time. Like, I mean, if this is what you had, like, if this is... If you were a kid in 1991, or just the early 90s in general, and was like, I need Mega Man on the go, I feel bad for you. Like, that this is the option you were presented with. It's like, you'd been better off with a Tiger LCD game. Okay, let's not say what we can't take back, but... Right now, that's kind of how I feel. Ugh. You know, I mean, how many enemies are up to this point? Like 15, I think? Oh, there we go. 16 enemies to get a health pickup. Okay, like say. Oh, 2 in a row. It's like buses. Ooh. Yeah, the game, like, heard me talking shit about it, and it was like, you know what? Yeah. Maybe I need to be less shit. Anyway, yeah. But, you know, I'll give this game a shot. I mean, I will say this. Graphically, it's fine. You know, I mean, this was 1991. There's only so much you could do with Game Boy. And, you know, I mean, the game looks okay. Looks like Mega Man. I wonder if this still has the spike bug from the first game. Like the NES game. Okay. Also, I seem to remember this part sucked. Well, the bit after this room, anyway. Yeah, watch this. Yep, got this climbing the tower bit again. Yeah, you gotta get the timing down perfectly. And if your positioning is 1 pixel off, you're dead. Yeah, like that. This room isn't as bad. You can just do this. Okay. Yeah, the stages in this game are actually really long. The thing is, I get the feeling they're probably a similar length to the NES stages. It just takes longer because you move slower in this game. I think that might be what it is. There we go. Again, you're off by like a pixel and you're dead. Oh, also note that I can't even hurt this thing until it moves. And here's the best bit. Yep. Guess what? You remember that whole, like, last 15 minutes I was doing? Yeah, guess what? I get to enjoy having to go through that whole section again. Hey kids, are you enjoying the game yet? You know, I never really played the Mega Man Game Boy games until recently, and yeah, playing this right now, I totally get why I didn't do that. It's like, this is making me miss Mackinsoft. Like Super Donkey Kong 3 had better level design than this. At least the levels didn't take a fucking decades to finish. Also, like, the music is really weird, too. It's like a remix. Well, I say remix. It's like they try to do their own version of Elecman's theme. But it's also much shorter and less catch a loop. I don't know. Like, it's not necessarily bad, but it's like, you can tell that the people who worked on Mega Man, like the soundtrack, yeah, like the people who did the Mega Man soundtrack on the NES had no involvement with this version. You can tell just from listening to it. You know, this is obviously the sound of, like, someone who played the NES version a little bit. But that was it. But yeah, so you gotta get that down, like, pixel perfect almost. Well, maybe not pixel perfect, it's probably not much stricter than it is on the NES, but I feel like the penalty is harsher, just because you have less health. So it's like a straight climb up the top. Yeah, like that. Like, you miss that thing by, like, a pixel and you're dead. I don't know. It's got the feel of, like, a game that was designed to be played with save states. Yeah, I'm just gonna damage boost through this bit, because doing that bit legit is not worth it. It's like, do you really think this game is worth that effort? It's like, if this was a NES game, sure, but not this one. So here we go. Elecman in the house. There is a way to get him in a pattern in this, but I don't know. I can't remember how you do it. Yeah, I don't know. It's basically just a crapshoot whether you can get him in a pattern or not. I guess that's kind of similar to how it is on the NES, really. Of course, on the NES, I'd have Cutman's weapon and just be able to kill him a lot easier anyway. The thing is, so again, Cutman in the NES version is weak to the Mega Buster. In this game, no one is weak to the Mega Buster because the designer was an arsehole. Also, yeah, if you shoot point blank range, your shot just goes right through him. Now, here's the thing. By some miracle, I actually did beat the boss once. But again, it basically requires a lot of luck to get anywhere in this game. Like, by some miracle, I actually did beat that boss fight once. Also, this game is so badly designed, it doesn't even have an option to go back to the title screen and enter a password. That's how bad this game is. They literally force you to reset the game to enter a password. It's like... I mean, if this is the best they could do, they should have just stuck to making shitty shoot-em-ups. So they would have been better served doing that. Okay, but let me enter this password that I've got, because... You know, I was playing this game a bit off stream, and I actually did beat a couple levels. I have no idea how I did it, but I did beat a couple levels in this game legit. So let me enter the password I got for beating Elecman. And I did take the screenshot myself, just for future reference. Assuming the yeah, I was like, assuming the password's the same in all versions. Hello, Jan, how you doing? You're just in time to see the worst Mega Man game ever made. But yeah, so like I say, I did somehow, by some miracle, beat Elecman off stream. So this is what happens if you beat Elecman. So you're supposed to go to Iceman stage, which to be fair is also how it worked on the NES. You know, because basically, in the NES version, I think it went Cutman, Electman, Iceman, Fireman, Bombman, and then Gutsman. So, welcome to Iceman's level. Now, Iceman's level in the original game is infamously hard. It's got all the Yoku box, like on the last level. And it's also got those, like, moving platforms near the end, which are an absolute pain to deal with. Though, weirdly enough, I want to say this stage is actually easier in this version. Partly just because the original was so fucking hard, but... yeah, this is the one time where they were like, you know what? Yeah, we need to tone down the difficulty a bit for this level, because no one wants to do Iceman's level again. Well, Mega Man Soccer is a very different game. Now, this screen, actually, I find quite interesting. Because Iceman stage, they did vary things up a bit. Like, this isn't in the original version of the level. You got these, you know, icicles that fall down and turn into platforms, but they also... well, I think if they land on you, you take damage. They don't kill you, but... yeah, so you have to do it in a certain order. This room actually is kind of interesting, so let me show you what to do here. But again, they're obviously trying to do Iceman's theme. But it's just like some weird remix version that doesn't quite work. Well, let me try to figure this out. Yeah, naturally the controls... it's kind of funny, the stage itself isn't necessarily as hard, but the controls are... yeah, because the controls weren't enough of an issue to deal with normally. So of course they had to make it worse on Iceman's level. Again, I could do this off stream, but doing it on stream is not going to happen. Okay, there we go. Weirdly enough, you don't slide on these icicles. I don't know what's going on. It's like they forgot to program that in. Maybe. Okay, let's see if this works. There we go. Hooray! I have a weapon that works against that giant arsehole that takes like 50 billion shots normally. Okay. So were these enemies in Iceman stage originally? I think they were. Yeah, just damage boost through that bit. Because, let's face it, I do not have the skill to do that otherwise. I mean, to me, we're talking about. And those things are annoying at the best times, even in the NES version. Not these things that spit out the... well, actually, yeah, these enemies weren't even in the first game, were they? These are like Mega Man 2 enemies, I think. Yeah, there we go. No, I never owned a GB Boy, or a GB Boy Color. I've heard of them, but... oh. Yeah, of course he gets punked, because he's Mega Man and apparently can't do anything to save his life. I mean, granted, that's just because I'm controlling him badly, but still. Also, naturally you don't get your weapon power back when you die, so if you have to waste it on a boss fight, good luck. There we go. That's how it should have gone, but I've forgotten the pattern. Hooray! I actually beat a boss fight in this. Yeah, weirdly enough, Iceman is by far the easiest part of the game, which again is ironic, because in the NES version it was... his stage was probably... well, not getting boss fights is probably the hardest part. Okay, here we go. Fireman. Yeah, very frozen over fire, but, you know, we'll take it as it is. And this soundtrack. I guarantee you've never seen this stage before. See, there are a couple interesting bits to this game, like, you know, like those weird icicles in Iceman's level. And, you know, there are bits that they changed up that aren't quite the same as the original. And I do have to give the game some credit for not just being a rogue copy of the original. Because that would have just made it even more useless. Yeah, at least they were trying to do something a bit different. Because there is, what was the character's name? Enka, who was like the boss near the end of the game. Not that I'm ever going to see that, because there's no way I'm torturing myself to get that far, but yeah, it's like a boss that shows up towards the end of the game. I think it's in Mega Man Soccer, isn't it? Okay, I pressed left and A, and the game registered me as pressing up for some reason. I'm going to blame that on the GameCube analog stick, because it's not really ideal for Game Boy. If I could plug in, like, a SNES controller, I'd do that. So I'm not going to blame the game for that, I'm blaming the GameCube controller, because, yeah. It's not a great controller. Like, I was always more of a Nintendo 64 man. No, the D-pad is way too small for my hands. Like, how anyone uses the GameCube D-pad, I don't know. Because, like, it's not comfortable to use. Again, it's way too small. If the GameCube, like, if the D-pad was a normal size, it would be okay. But, yeah, it's like, after Nintendo 64, it's like, Nintendo had no idea how to make a D-pad after that. I don't know what happened, but, you know, like, Nintendo 64 D-pad wasn't amazing, but it was fine. And yeah. I mean, I did recently get a Brawler 64 pad, which I got from that convention I mentioned. But, yeah, I think I'm going to move on from this, because you know what? I don't think I get paid enough to play Mega Man on Game Boy for more than, like, 15 minutes. What do you think? Do you think I should move on from this? Because, I gotta be honest, you know what really puts me off from wanting to play this more? It's the god-awful checkpoint system. Like I say, the stages in this game are unnecessarily long. Like, a stage in this takes at least 5 minutes to get to the end, and that's not even counting boss fights. It's like, and you get maybe 2 checkpoints, one at the boss, one at about the halfway point in the level. And it's like, you know, if you die right before the checkpoint, you've lost about, like, 3 to 4 minutes of progress. And that's assuming you haven't wasted a whole bunch of time trying to, like, farm health pickups. You want me to skip the game? I'll take you up on that. I will gladly oblige. But where does Mega Man go on this list? I mean, it's a tough one. I mean, is it as good as Super Mario Land? I mean, if we're talking Game Boy debuts, I mean, you know, Mario changed things up more from the original. It had those shoot-'em-up levels, had a new villain, had a new princess, different level themes. And it was more successful at adapting the Mario concept onto a handheld. You know, it was more fun to play. It didn't control perfectly, but it went at a nice speed. You know, they didn't, like, kneecap Mario's abilities for the sake of adapting it to the handheld. And that's where Mega Man kind of fails. You know, his jump height is a lot shorter, his movement speed is slower. The collision detection doesn't really make any sense, where sometimes you'll hit your head off things, where it looks like you're off to the side of them. Like, the hitboxes work very differently, in a way that doesn't really make sense. So it's not as good as Super Mario Land. It's certainly not as good as Mr. Chin's Gourmet Paradise. You'd be better off playing King of the Zoo. You know, as far as third-party games published by Nintendo in Europe go, that is a better game. It's definitely, like, it's not even, it doesn't even deserve to be mentioned in the same breath as Yars' Revenge, the Kotile Ultimatum. And it's certainly no Muhammad Ali boxing. There's no Pog. in Mega Man. He does not pog in this game. You know, it's like minus 2049 is way better. It's certainly not as good as Alleyway. You know, Alleyway may have been more, you know, utilitarian, I guess, but that was a better game. It was a lot more successful than what it did. It's not as good as Rambo 1/2. As flawed as that game is, I'd rather play that. And you know what, like Solar Striker, you know, the other Minakuchi engineering game I've covered, again, very utilitarian in design. Like, you know, like it does the bare basics of what a shoot 'em up at that time would do. But it at least does them competently enough that you could sit down for like half an hour, play it and have some fun with it. Whereas Mega Man on the Game Boy is misery in cartridge form. Like, if I had played this game as a kid, I don't think I would have ever gotten into the NES games. Let's just put it that way. And I'm being completely serious when I say that. Like, I would have played that game and I would have sworn off playing any of the other games after that. Thankfully, I did play the NES games first. Yeah, like I say, I added these just so that you can, you know, if you want to see me cover a particular game, you can look up these streams. Maybe I could have posted them a bit better, but it is what it is. But again, Solar Striker is a better game. It's not a good game, but it's better. You know, I mean, it's worse than that dodgy port of Paperboy. Because Paperboy, I could get further in it. And it has the Paperboy theme. So that it makes that game better than this. It's worse than Mario and Yoshi. Like, Mario and Yoshi I had fun with as a kid. I don't necessarily have much fun with it today, but like, Mario and Yoshi is fun if you're like 5 years old. Mega Man, I'm pretty sure if I'd played this game as 5 years old, I would have been crying by this point. No, it says Mecha Blast in the game, trust me. Look that up if you don't believe me. So yeah, it's worse than Xenon 2 Mecha Blast. Is it worse than Castlevania The Adventure, though? Like, Castlevania The Adventure has some similar problems, but it's got its own characters, completely different levels, like, completely new. The problem with Castlevania The Adventure is that it's comically slow, and Mega Man isn't as slow as this game is, to be fair, but the levels are also... It's kind of funny, I mean, the levels in Castlevania The Adventure felt longer than necessary, but not to the same extent, even though that game was also a fair bit slower than this. And it also helps that Castlevania The Adventure had a banging soundtrack, whereas the soundtrack in this game is barely passable. Like, it's passable, but I wouldn't choose to listen to it. So it's worse than that. It's worse than Castellian. Like, it's evil, like Castellian in terms of the way it's designed, but Castellian is a more compelling game. Like, I would be more willing to see how the later levels of Castellian are designed. I've seen the later levels of Mega Man on Game Boy, and I have no interest in playing the later levels. I think there are 6 levels. And it's like they went, okay, this game is short, so we need to make it as hard as possible so that no one ever beats it in a rental. You know, it kind of has that feel to it. So yeah, it's worse than Castellian. Like, Castellian at least is better graphically, and I think it controlled better. You know, Castellian, the pig, or whatever the character is, moved at a decent speed. So it's worse than that. Hello, Electric Boogaloo, how you doing? Is it worse than Beetlejuice, though? I mean, Beetlejuice was pretty bad, but, you know, Beetlejuice was at least original. I can't think of any other game that plays like Beetlejuice. Whereas Mega Man, well, it's obviously just similar to the NES game, but infinitely worse. Like, you know, again, Mega Man 1 on the NES had some rough edges. You know, it didn't have E-tanks, it didn't have passwords. It had that weird spike bug that they fixed in the other games. But I don't know, it was much better realised than the Game Boy version. It plays better in general. You know, and in a strange way, it kind of felt more forgiving. Like, there were more checkpoints, at least, or... See, you're recovering from allergies. I'm recovering from a flu. But, yeah. See, Beetlejuice, I would be more willing to go back to, because at least that game was weird. In a way that I don't recall seeing with any other game. Again, Mega Man on Game Boy just makes you want to play the NES games. I'm just like, okay, I'd rather just play that instead. Like, why would I play the Game Boy game when the NES version is right there? Like, maybe in 1991 you could have gotten away with this. But in this day and age, where you can easily run the NES games on any old handheld system, there's no reason to play this game. And that's the biggest problem. I mean, that's kind of true of probably a lot of games on this list. Like, there's no reason to play Palamedes on Game Boy when you can easily emulate the NES version on a handheld, where that version is a lot better. I don't know, is it better or worse than Palamedes? Because Palamedes was pretty shit. It was not a good port. I am doing okay. My voice is probably not at its best. Again, I'm getting over illnesses, which is why I didn't do a midweek stream. Is it worse than Palamedes? I mean, there are flashes of intrigue to Mega Man. Like, you look at Iceman stage where it has a couple of ideas that weren't in the original. You know, it's not irredeemable. Graphically, it's fine. Music is okay. Whereas the music in Palamedes just makes me want to shut the sound off completely. It's better than Palamedes, but not by much. Yeah. I think 113 is a pretty good spot. You know, it's worse than Beetlejuice. It's better than Palamedes. Like, I'd rather play it over that, because at least it has more to offer. But you'd also have to think, you know, like, you would expect better from Mega Man on Game Boy. Because it's Mega Man. Like, you look at the other games down here, like any game below Castlevania, like, do any of these games have any real expectations? Like, they're mostly pretty minor names, like, you know, Primitive Princess, Monster Truck, Simpsons. I mean, no one expects a good Simpsons game with Imagineering. Like, you know that game's gonna be shit, because it's Imagineering. You know, Beetlejuice. Like, you don't expect quality from these games, but, you know, even Super Donkey Kong 3, because, well, it's a Mac and Soft bootleg, of course that game's going to suck. But we expect better from Mega Man. It's just, no, it's not good enough. You know, let's hope for better from the sequel. Okay, so Mega Man 2, or Rockman World 2 in this case. But, well, sure, they can't be worse than the original. The only way is up, as Yaz once said. Oh no, this theme. Yeah, I'm gonna need my medicine for this one, I think. Yes, I did cover Rockland in the Game Boy Filler series. I think it was on the 8th stream. That game's actually pretty good. Rockman World 2, on the other hand, I'm not convinced by this theme song, I've got to be honest. Like, it sounds like I do right now. It sounds like it's recovering from some kind of illness. Now, let me say for the record, while I was playing Mega Man 1 off stream, I did not play this game off stream. Like, Mega Man 1, I did some preparation for. But Mega Man 2... Oh no, what is this tune? Like, the game sounds ill. Like, it sounds incorrect. I don't know. And this soundtrack! Anyway. So let's see, we've got Crashman, Metal Man, Airman, and Woodman. Well, anyone who plays Mega Man 2 knows to go for Metal Man first. Even though I usually go for Airman first, because you get item 2 from him, but we'll do Metal Man, because he has the best weapon. Like I say, I have not played this one, so, I don't actually know this game. Again, oh, as you can tell from that. So, yeah, again, I have not played Mega Man 2 on Game Boy. At least I certainly haven't recently, anyway. If I've ever played this one, I don't remember. Ooh. Yeah, we'll just wait for this thing to... So yes, Mega Man 2 has some interesting stuff going on. First thing to note about this game, because I don't think we'll see it in this stream, but... So, Mega Man 2 has 4 bosses from Mega Man 2 and 4 bosses from Mega Man 3. Also, you have the slide move, which wasn't in Mega Man 2 on the NES. But, yeah. So, here's what's interesting about this particular game. So, this game was not made by the team who made the previous one. So, like I said, the last game was made by Minakuchi Engineering. This one, from what I've read, was done by Thinking Rabbit, who you might remember from such classics as Boxel and Boxel 2, and of course, the eternal classic Superman for the Mega Drive. You know, everyone's favourite. Also, this shoot sound. This sounds like a menu sound from like a Final Fantasy game. But, yeah, so it's kind of weird too. You look at the release dates. So Mega Man 1 on Game Boy was released in July 1991, even though it feels like a 1989 game. But yeah, it was 1991. This game was released also in 1991, like December, I think. Okay, I'm just trying to see if I can get a health power-up, since I'm basically run out of health already. Probably should have practiced this one a bit before off stream, but I didn't do that. Great, and the game's only giving me health, weapon power-ups. Oh, no, there's one. Like, this does not sound like Mega Man's, like, attack sound. It just sounds like... Again, it sounds like a menu sound. And this does not sound like Metal Man's theme. Like, you know, Mega Man 1 had, like, weird remix versions of the themes, where at least you kind of recognize them. Like, is this supposed to be a version of Metal Man's theme? It doesn't sound like it. Like, at all. It's like... But it's kind of funny, actually, because, you know, the first Mega Man on Game Boy, the sound driver was fine. Like, the compositions weren't great. But, you know, like, the game sounded okay. This game sounds noticeably worse. Which, again, like, this game was apparently rushed out. It definitely feels like it. I mean, like... I mean, the sound, I think, tells you that. I don't know how you dodged that. It respawns. Oh, God, how you dodge that? Okay, here's a question. Are you supposed to beat Metal Man first in this? Because there's usually kind of like an optimal order to do things in. When I say optimal, I mean like, you know, like whichever one is the easiest you go for first. Again, you play Mega Man 2 on the NES, like... Yeah, like Metal Man is generally one of the easiest bosses, I think. Like I say, I normally go for Airman first, just because I like his weapon. Well, not even his weapon necessarily. More, yeah, you get item 2 from beating him. And item 2 is actually really useful in a few spots. But yeah, I gotta be honest, I don't think Capcom really, I don't think they really put a whole lot of time and effort into the Game Boy Mega Man games. If these first 2 games are anything to go by. What do you say? I mean, you know, if I told you that the first game was released in July 1991 and this was released in December the same year, would you believe me? Because you probably would, looking at this. It's kind of funny, because it, like, just in terms of how it looks, this looks very similar to the first game, but it feels different. Like, the physics are a little bit different. It's like they couldn't use the engine from the first game, so they had to make up a new one from scratch. I think. I'm not certain on that, but that's what it feels like. Great, and he just falls through the spikes in this one. Amazing. Fine, we'll see if Airman's stage is any easier. I mean, yeah, they do farm the games out, but like, the NES games, they at least made them in-house. Again, like, you could, like, you look at how slowly that egg falls. Which, again, doesn't do it like that on the NES. And also, like, that thing just appeared out of thin air. I mean, they kind of do in the original, but... I like this, by the way. Yeah, like, now the screws are so low, you can just safely shoot over them. Also, yeah, I realise the colour palette on this isn't necessarily amazing for this level, but, you know. When you're dealing with, Game Boy colour palettes, I mean, I've got, like, 13 to choose from, I think. No, 12 to choose from, because the default one is the same as one of the other ones. Am I supposed to go down here? Yes, okay. You know, it's a good thing that I have Quickman stage in this, because that would have been awful. You think there's going to be, like, an invisible hole here somewhere? Because given what the first game was like, I wouldn't put it past them. Okay, so, you remember what I was saying about the first game, where they at least tried to change it up a bit from the original levels, where they'd add a couple obstacles that weren't present in the original? And also, like, enemy types that weren't in the first game. See, this game, they couldn't even be bothered with that. They were like, yeah, we'll just straight up remake Airman's level from Mega Man 2 and make no notable changes. Because this is obviously just Airman's level, but worse. Which, again, like, the first game, they at least tried to do it a little bit differently. I mean, to be fair, they do things a little bit differently with these Game Boy Mega Man games, but mostly just in the sense that, like, half of the bosses come from one game, and then half the bosses come from the next game. So, in this case, like, Mega Man 2, you know, the first 4 bosses you fight are from Mega Man 2 on the NES, and then when it comes to, like, this... So then you beat those bosses, and then you get to, like, the second half of the game. Well, I say the second half, it was, like, I guess the second third. You know, like, where it's like, okay, here are, like, the Mega Man 3 bosses. So half of the bosses from Mega Man 3 are in this game. Yeah, so this one was done by Thinking Rabbit. But yeah, again, like... I mean, the soundtrack is the only thing that's really all that notably different compared to the original. Yeah, I think we're going to get very far with this. Might need a bit of practice on this one. Also, yeah, like... So, in the original, you could just kind of damage boost your way through Airman. I don't think that works in this one, though. And, yeah, Woodman and Crashman, you generally don't want to go against them first. Like, doing them with a Mega Buster, not optimal. Also, yeah, I'm trying to get the timing down as well. Okay, I have no idea how you dodge that. What is happening to music? Woo! Oh, I did it. Yeah, well, to be fair, I actually did set the colour palette myself. The problem is, the Game Boy Color BIOS only allows you to have 12 different colour palettes. And I think this is the only one that gives you a blue character sprite. Like, literally all the other ones have different colours. So if I wanted a blue Mega Man, this is my only option. I mean, I could have gone for, like, a blue background, but then I have, like, a red Mega Man. And unless I'm using Metal Man's weapon, that doesn't really make sense. Okay, so what's the weakness order in this? So, okay, so it would be Airman. So Airman, you use to beat Crashman. And then, Metal Man, I think, works on Woodman, or... No, I can't remember. Actually, like, half... You can use the Metal Blades on half the bosses in Mega Man 2, it's crazy. But yeah, so I know you go to Airman's... Or no. So yeah, I beat Airman, so then you go to Crashman. Who do you use the Crash Bombs on? I'm pretty sure it's one of the bosses that's not in this. But I can't remember which one. I think it was like... Oh, so you beat Okay, so you have to use the Crash Bombs on Metal Man. Okay, that's not how it works in Mega Man 2 on the NES. I do remember that much. Oh, also, yeah, Clashman, because it's the Japanese version. Yeah, so again, they've obviously just kind of taken the original Crashman level. Wasn't there, like, recently, like, a thing in an interview where, like, the creator was like, yeah, his name was supposed to be Crashman the whole time, but, like, they mangled the name a bit for the Japanese version, and then fixed it for the other ones. I think it was something like that. Oh, okay, I wasn't sure if the enemies would ever respawn in this version or not. Turns out, yes, they do. Oh. You know, it's a shame the music in this is so inferior. Because, like, Crashman's theme is, like, one of the best themes for like, any character in any game. And this just isn't on that level. So yeah, I got the Rush Jet, I think? Actually, I might need to test that out in a bit. Yeah, probably should have used the Rush Jet. Okay, does it work like it does in Mega Man 3? Yes. Okay, so I can easily just skip this bit. Because I know in Mega Man 4 they kind of nerfed it a bit. Yeah, so you got this thing. I haven't figured out where I'm supposed to stand to avoid that. Yeah, but yeah, anyone who's played Mega Man 2 on difficult mode will know. Oh. Great. Yep, this is what I get for not knowing the level layouts. Okay. I was thinking maybe if I stood close to it that could work. I'm sure in the NES version you could do that. There was certain bits, but okay. I might be misremembering that. So I guess it's like, yeah. Definitely want to beat Airman first. There we go. So here's this thing from Flashman's level. Actually, I think it was in Crashman's level as well, wasn't it? Can't remember. I think it might have been. I mean, okay. I want to say the collision detection makes a little bit more sense in this one. Like, yeah. Oh, great. The thing spawns into the wall, so I can't collect it. Wonderful. I mean, I could use Rush Jet on this bit. So this is like they tried to do Gemini Man's theme. Or not theme, but like try to make it look a bit like that level with the with the Crashman tile set. It didn't work. Oh. I wish. See, now I just wish I was playing the NES version just to have the theme. Here we go. You know, the sad part is, I'm actually enjoying this more than the first one. Like, this game has its faults. Like, this game was obviously rushed. Which, yeah, speaking of rush. But, you know what? At least this game doesn't brutalize you in the way that the first game does. Like, it actually kind of gives you a fighting chance, at least. Here we go, time to beat Crashman. Let's see if he's as hard to deal with as he is in the original. Actually, he seems to be a bit slower in this one, oddly enough. In the original, those mines they froze, like, well, the bombs. I remember them being, like, super fast, but yeah, his pattern's way easier in this one, oddly enough. Oh, okay, turns out your weapon runs out super fast in this one. I seem to recall, yeah, Airman's weapon wasn't great, to be fair. It's one of those weapons that you only use against, like, 2 or 3 specific enemy types. Ooh, is this better than Game Gear? Yeah, I would say this one is. The first one, I'm not so sure. If I had to choose between playing Mega Man 1 on Game Boy and Mega Man on Game Gear, if I had to be brutally honest, I think I'd go for the Game Gear version, because at least that one's kind of bad in a weird way. Like, that one they took it in a different direction, and it didn't work, but for different reasons. Okay, let's try Metal Man again, see if we can do this. I also find it amusing that Metal Man looks a bit like a doctor, even though that's obviously not what he's supposed to be. Okay, so we want to use the crash bombs on, yeah, on Metal Man. Okay, so those things are useless against anything that's not on grip. Like, anything that's not above you, not worth it. And I've forgotten the level layout already. Okay, well that's me being an idiot. Yeah, Mega Man Extreme, I will end up covering that at some point. I don't think I'll do it today. Because I'm just doing these Mega Man games just because it's a case where... Actually, let me test something out. If I die and continue, do I lose my... I want to know, do I lose my E-Tank? No. Okay, so you do keep those after death. So in Mega Man 2 on the NES, if you died, you lost all your E-Tanks, but not... In this one, they decided to go back and change that. Which, to be fair, like Mega Man 3, you didn't lose all your E-Tanks when you ran out of lives. Because basically it was a case where in Mega Man 2, you lost them, if that happened, but not in any of the other ones after that. I could have sworn the Airman's weapon worked on those things, but I guess not. I don't know if they changed that, or if I'm just remembering it wrong. Ugh. Yeah, cool. Okay. But yeah, Mega Man Extreme... Okay, here's a question. Is Mega Man Extreme good? Because I haven't really played that one, so I can't tell you. I would assume it's better than the NES games, just because, I mean, that have to be. But, you know, I think I would take the option of playing Zouk Hero Z. That's a game I'm looking forward to doing one of these days. Like, that's a game that should have been licensed, but wasn't. Ooh, give me the extra life. I don't care if it means dying. I'll take it. Okay, I can do with some health. If I can at least get to the next checkpoint, it'd be great. But I have to get past the bit with that bastard enemy, and I don't know if the crash bombs work on it or not. Great. Don't know why I do that. Yeah, like I say, there's a common problem with Game Boy games nowadays where they often end up just being lesser versions of console games. And that's not just a problem with Game Boy, it's also a problem with, you know, Game Gear and Atari Lynx and whatever. Where if it's a multi-platform game, usually you're better off just playing the console versions. There are exceptions, but not many. I mean, you could maybe make a case with Tetris. You know, there are probably some people who would take the Game Boy version of Tetris over the NES version, but... Okay, now I'm just playing like an idiot. It's not going to help. No, stop spawning where the items are. I don't know why I'm refilming this thing, but... How many hits does it take to destroy this? Yeah, I guess that works. Kind of. Nope, maybe not. Nope! Turns out Airman's weapon, not very good. I mean, it's good for Crash Man, but that's about it. Okay, let's... So you don't get many uses of this. Let's hope this works. Aha! It does. Okay. Well, figured out the secret to this bit. Yeah, like DuckTales on Game Boy. I mean, DuckTales on Game Boy is fine, but it's also like, it is one of those where it just makes me wish I was playing the NES version. And that's never a good thing, which is, you know, the reason why the game isn't that high on the list. It's like, well, I could play this, but, you know, I could also just play the NES version instead and have a better time with it. Here we go, Mega Man with his amazing slide action. Which is interesting, because again, that wasn't in Mega Man 2 on the NES, it was something they added for the third one. So let's try Rush Coil out. There we go. So I've got more than enough extra lives to do this. Well, I hope. Yeah. See, the problem is Airman's weapon doesn't work on these things at all, so I'm basically forced to use Crashman's weapon here. Or I could just do this. You know, and those giant, like the stacks that rain on you are going to show up again here, aren't they? Because I know they do on the NES version, I don't remember, I'm not sure about this one though. No, I guess they took those out for this one. Yeah, you play the Game Boy version if you just want to see how it compares to the NES version, but you wouldn't really choose to play it as, like... How would you? See, I own a Famicom. Also, yeah, let's see how far I get just doing the old strategy of just stand on the left and just pelt shots. See, I'm sure in the NES version, he takes damage a lot more quickly. Yeah, like, he takes less shots to kill, I think. Unless I'm remembering that wrong, maybe I'm just thinking of, like, normal difficulty, but... Okay, let's try using the crash bombs, because apparently those work. Ooh, see, I do own a Master System. Master System's cool. It is a great system. Okay, let's do this the way they intended, I think. Wait, what's going on here? Okay, so if I just stand here... Like, is it running backwards on a treadmill? What's going on? Everybody do the Metal Man dance! Oh, God. Yeah, good luck actually getting any of these bombs to hit. There we go. Okay, so apparently the bombs are useless because they don't actually hit anything. So you're basically forced to use the Mega Buster because... Yeah. Well, I'll just end up just eating a whole bunch of E-tanks. Okay, how much damage do I take from the blades? Okay, it's 1. Oh, didn't even need the attack, but pretty good. You know, when I was actually at the convention, they had one of those handheld Tectoy Master System things. And a Gradiente console. With I think they're Crime Busters. I tried playing it and I couldn't get it to work. Like, I could get it to go into the menu and it just wouldn't get past that. So we have the Rush Marine. So here we go. Now we get to see Woodman. I do at least want to see one of the Mega Man 3 levels, so I will actually try to beat this level. Yeah, see, I remember this. Oh, doesn't work when they're not in the same elevation as you. Yeah, it's a lot harder to hit them. Yeah, this one actually doesn't sound as bad as the others. Do you use Airman's weapon on this? I don't remember. No, you do not. You don't use that at all. That does not work. Nope, crash bombs don't work either. Yeah, so any of the weapons that would be useful in this section don't exist in this version of the game. Because they just never programmed those Robot Masters into it. See, this is where I'd be like, you know what? Maybe you should have just kept the weapons in the previous game. Ugh. Also, that sound effect sounds like it came from, like a Beam Software game. Never really signed. Okay, let's see. Does the game give me a checkpoint here? Oh, wait, they added water to this section? Okay, I guess they were like, we need to get a use out of the Rush Marine, so we'll just add water to Woodman stage. Also, yeah, this thing from Needleman stage, I think? I thought those things only shot diagonally, but I guess not. At least it respawns me here when I die. Well, let's try the Rush Marine out, because why not? I have it with me. See how long it lasts. Yep, here's the true strategy. Just avoid this stuff entirely. See, this is a lot more... You know what's kind of funny? As much as this game was rushed, it actually plays way better than the first game, ironically. Like, it feels like this game should be a lot worse, but it also feels like the first game should have been a lot better. Let's put it that way. It's like, okay, how was the first game so fucking terrible? And how is this one, like... Yeah. I don't remember how you get past these things. See, I swear in the original, they jump when they're right next to you, but in this version they don't. So I have no idea what the pattern is. It's definitely not what the pattern was in the original. So yeah, like, so that pattern is completely different. Again, does not work the way it does in the original. Well, since I got 3 lives, I may as well just waste one learning the pattern here. See, I've got a master system. I love the master system. I'd love to just, like, spend some time streaming the master system at some point. Oh, okay, well the shield seems to be quite a bit slower in this one. It's maybe a problem, actually, because that may make it harder to jump over. But I do like that you can kind of shoot through it, which you couldn't do in the original game. Yeah, okay. You know, actually that was a lot closer than I expected it to be. But, let's try the metal blades. I wonder if they nerfed them for this. Yeah, Master System is legendary. Yep, that's all you do. Metal blades, just as powerful as they always were. Okay, let's see what Mega Man 3 bosses are in this. Because I'm intrigued. Like I said, I never really played this one before this stream, I don't think. It's kind of funny. So, like I said, I actually spent a fair bit of time playing Mega Man 1 off-stream in preparation for this. I didn't bother doing that for this one. Because I know that there's, like, a reputation with these games where, like, the second game is a lot easier than the other ones. Yeah, here we go. So here's Dr. Wily's castle. Actually, it doesn't look half bad for a Game Boy. Not so sure about the music, though. Oh. Oh yeah, that's right, you have to do them in a certain order. I forgot about this. I think. Yes, here's Wily. Yep, we're at him already. Yeah, like, the later Tectoy SMSs, I think they're a lot cheaper in terms of how they're made. This is interesting. So I think you do play full stages, but it's got that kind of... Yeah, like boss rush thing, except it's not. So, is this Needleman's level? Like, no, I can't tell what level this is. No, it's Hardman. It's Hardman. Try a Airman's weapon here. Nope, doesn't work. It does not work. In the NES version, you just scroll this enemy off the screen. Which kind of works a little bit, but not entirely. Does this enemy not despawn? Okay, well they fixed that problem by just... Okay. These things are much more pain to deal with. Okay, metal blades go! Nope, turns out metal blades don't work either. I'll just spam E-tanks to get through this bit. So I don't think there's an easy way through this one. Just spam E-tanks till you get to the end. Okay, and then they got a... Yeah, Sniper Jill, whatever, from like a freeform. Okay. I mean, I could get the extra life, I'm not going to bother. I'll just be like, you know, I'm just going to carry on. Oh yeah, Wait, weren't these enemies from Woodman's stage? Or am I just, like, getting my Mega Man wrong at this point? Let's try Metal Man's weapon, see if that works. Yes, it does. I think you used it up a bit faster in this one, but not that much faster. Yeah, see, these things are always a bastard to deal with. They're like, you know those giant enemies from Batman on the NES? Where the only way to deal with them is to, like, try to hit them when they're at the very edge of the screen. Yeah, these enemies are just like that. So I assume your your weapon meters or energy meters, whatever, carry over between levels at this point. I mean, they have to, surely. Here we go. Gotta deal with this gate. Yep. It's okay. I can kind of cheese that. Ooh. Here's a question: do they sound better or worse than this game? Yeah, I'm just gonna damage boost my way through this bit. Oh, here we go. It just got stuck on like the... I couldn't tell... Okay, for a second I thought that was like a glitch. It got stuck on the edge of the screen somehow. No, that's just how the enemy's programmed. It's like, no, that's how the enemy's supposed to be. It's interesting. Oh, no. Oh! No, I'm skipping this bit. Now here's a question, are the Mega Man 3 bosses weak to any of the Mega Man 2 weapons? I mean, I'll try the Metal Blade, see if they do anything, but I'm going to assume it's a case where you have to use the Mega Buster to start with. Here we go, Hard Man. I mean, normally you use, yeah, I mean, they kind of work a little bit. Oh. Okay, don't touch Hard Man at all. Nope, that doesn't work. Try the wood shield, maybe? No. No, that just bounces off him. Oh! Yeah, I think I'm pretty much stuck with the Mega Buster for this. Ugh, what am I doing? I was holding down, and... So, like, if you hold diagonal down in a direction, he doesn't slide. Like, he'll just jump instead, which is kind of a problem if you're trying to dodge Hard Man. See, that's unfortunate about the hardware, because I love, like, those earlier Tectoy systems. They seem quite good, and I did get to play them a little bit. Though I did get to play the Zeebo. And I didn't realise they had a version of Resident Evil 4, the Zeebo, but they do. That was pretty cool. Wait, did you really advise me to skip this game? Okay, yeah, I just realised. Pirate Game Boy wanted me to skip this game like 20 minutes ago. I apologise for ignoring your request. Though actually I'm kind of not, because you know what? I feel like this game deserves that extra bit of time that Mega Man 1 did not deserve. It kind of sounds like the intro thing. Yeah, so your weapon how will just carry over. Okay, yeah, I think I will end the game here in a bit. But, yeah, Mega Man 2 on the Game Boy. How does that compare to this list? Now, here's... Okay, first question. Should I play Mega Man 3 after this? Or should I move on to, like, something else? Because I think I might do Mega Man 3 and then come back to the rest of them later. That's what I'm thinking of doing. But Mega Man 2 on Game Boy. It's a really weird one. So, again, the game was very rushed. Apparently it was made in a couple months. Because it's like, the first game was released in July 1991. Second game was released in December 1991. And you can kind of tell that they rushed it just from, like, the soundtrack and just things feeling a bit off. Like, there are things about this that just feel kind of incorrect, in a sense. So, yeah, like, but it controls better than the first one. Like, it feels a bit faster, a little bit more immediate. Like, it controls better than the first game. The graphics are probably roughly on par, I think. I mean, the game looks okay. The sound is a lot worse, I will say that. I think the compositions are alright, it's just the sound driver they used. I don't know what they were using, but they had to overhaul that. And it's weird, because You know, supposedly this was made by the same people that made Sokoban, and that game sounded fine. So, I don't know what's going on with that. It's just weird. But it is a lot more playable than the original. The stages are, you know, they're about the right length. You know, they don't wear out their welcome like they do with the first game. I think there are more checkpoints, or at the very least the checkpoints are in better locations than they were in the first game. But it also does have that issue where it feels a bit less inspired in places. But it's got that thing where you've got, like, okay, here's a bunch of Mega Man 3 bosses, and I don't think the first game had that. At least not in the same way, like, you didn't get full stages. So it's got some interesting stuff going on. But is it better than Mega Man Dr. Wily's Revenge? It's really weird, because this feels like the one that they put more effort into, and it was a barely playable piece of shit. And yet, Mega Man 2, which they kind of rushed out in a couple months for the Christmas season, is actually a much better game. It sounds worse, but it's better on just about every other level. Like, you know, if you played these games with the sound off, Mega Man 2 is the better game on all fronts. So it's better than the first game. Like, you know, like, Mega Man 2 is, like, if you were to look at these games being played, if you were to look up gameplay of this series, this is the one that you would assume is the bad one, but then you sit down and play it and you're like, you know what? Yeah, this is actually a lot better than the first one. Granted, it's nothing compared to Mega Man 2 on the NES, because that is one of the best games on the NES. I mean, it's... yeah. In fact, you could easily make a case of that being the best NES game ever made. I wouldn't agree, but, you know, it certainly would be in the conversation. But yeah, it's better than Dr. Wily's Revenge. It's better than Castlevania The Adventure, because it controls better. I could get further into it. It was less frustrating. People do say it's too easy. I could maybe see that a little bit. But I mean, I would much rather prefer a game that's a little too easy than a game that's way too hard. A game that's way too hard, it gets boring. Repeating the same sections over and over, and I just don't want to do it. So currently I'm ranking Mega Man 2. So like I say, it's better than Castlevania The Adventure. It's better than The Amazing Spider-Man. Amazing Spider-Man kind of felt better in a couple places, but no, it's better than that. It's better than Tesserae. It's better than Flipple, an exciting cube game. It's definitely better than Racing Damacy. But is it better than Dan Laser? Like, it doesn't have the crazy mode. And I don't think Gemini Man is in this game, so you don't get the Gemini Laser, or whatever that weapon's called, I forgot. But, you know, it doesn't have the crazy mode. I mean, the music, I would say, is maybe a bit worse. But there's a bit more to Mega Man 2 than this. Yeah, it's better than Dan Laser. It's better than Burai Fighter Deluxe. It's not... It isn't better than Painter Momo P, though. Like, that is a better game than this. But yeah, it's worse than Painter Momo P. It's better than Gensu Yanshimaru. I think I would play it over that. It's better than Flappy Special. No, is it better than Flappy Special? I gotta be honest, like, because Flappy Special, I think, was better than the Famicom version. When I think about it, like, because again, the common complaint with these games is that the console versions are usually better. Flappy Special is an exception where I would much rather play the Game Boy version over the Famicom version, because it's a little bit more forgiving and the soundtrack is better. So, yeah, Flappy Special is better than Flappy. Mega Man 2 on Game Boy is not as good as Mega Man 2 on the NES. It's far superior to Mega Man 1 on Game Boy, but yeah, compared to Mega Man 2 on Mega Man 2 on the NES, it's not even close. Like, Mega Man 2 on the NES is a masterpiece. This game is okay, but it's definitely not masterpiece level. So, yeah, I'm going to put it at the number 57 spot. You know, that puts it, you know, roughly in the middle of the list. But congratulations to Mega Man 2, courtesy of Capcom and Thinking Rabbit. Oh, that's right, yeah, because Atelier Double made Boxel. Thinking Rabbit just published it. I forgot about that. Actually, that's really weird, now that I think about it. But yeah. But yeah, turns out Thinking Rabbit, the makers of Boxel, yeah, way better at making Mega Man games than the people that made Solar Striker. But is that actually true? Because here's the thing, Minakuchi Engineering, they did get to make more Mega Man games, and I want to know, did they redeem themselves with those sequels? Well, I will play Mega Man 3 for you, but, well, before I do that, I'm going to have to fill up my drink, especially for today, because my voice is not great, more so than usual. So, I'm going to take a quick break, and when I come back, we will play some Mega Man 3 on Game Boy. So, don't go away.
That's nothing. When I first played the game, I went through it 50 times before I got to Cutsman.
I'm afraid this isn't the same as your game, Captain N.
What do you mean?
What I think he means is if we get trashed 2 more times, we're going to the big trash dump in the sky.
We must hurry.
As Captain N and the others make another attempt to get to the Deadly Cutsman. Deadly Cutsman. Deadly Cutsman. 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 Cutsman.
Cutsman's the name, cutting's my game, and I don't mean hair.
Haha!
Fun fact, as a child, I used to have a VHS tape that had an episode of Captain N on it. And I think that was my first exposure to characters like Pit and Simon Belmont and Megaman and all that. Because, you know, I didn't have those games as a kid. But, yeah, because I didn't own a NES. Like, the NES wasn't huge in the UK. Like, you know, it was a thing. It just wasn't... Yeah, it wasn't the world-conquering phenomenon that it had been in America. Rockman World 3, like I say, I don't know if I'll do any of the other Mega Man games today. I might just move on to something else in a bit. But yes, Rockman World 3 for Game Boy. Yes, they rehired Mutakuchi Engineering to do this one. So, let's see if they can redeem themselves with this game. Because, I mean, they have to, after that first one. Bruno the Kid? There was a Captain N and Zelda VHS? See, I never really got to watch the Zelda cartoon. I've seen clips of it. I just remember, you know, Link's legendary catchphrase, "Excuse me, princess." Also, yeah, like, I seem to recall a thing with Captain N, like, they couldn't get the rights to the likenesses of the characters, so they deliberately had to make characters look off-model, so they didn't get sued, which is why Mega Man is green, and why Pit is called Kid Icarus. Actually, I'm not sure if that was rights issues or if they just didn't know what they were doing. So, let's see. So we've got Sparkman, Gemini Man, Shadow Man, and Snake Man. So these are essentially the Mega Man 3 bosses that weren't in Mega Man 2. That's basically how these games work, so... You know, like, this game will have half of the Mega Man 4 bosses later on, and then, what is it, like, the other half show up in the next game. It's a bit weird, but, you know, it's... I mean, to be fair, that's not a bad idea. I will give them credit. Of course, Mega Man 2 did it first, but, you know, it's an alright idea to follow up on, I think. See, the thing is, usually, you know, playing Mega Man 3... you would normally go up against Top Man first. The problem is that Top Man isn't in this game, so that's not really an option. So we'll go for Snake Man, just because I can beat him in the NES version. So let's see. Snake Man, see how far we get with this. Yeah, so this one I did play a bit of off stream, because again, I seem to recall this one is going to be quite difficult. I mean, you can tell by the way I haven't, like, immediately gotten a hit in the first 2 seconds. So, another interesting difference between this and Mega Man 3 is that you can actually charge a Mega Buster in this one. I guess they were like, okay, we're going to include the moves that were featured in the next game because there are bosses from the sequel that are in this one, and yeah. Also, yeah, this part, incidentally, was a lot easier in the original version of Mega Man 3 on the NES, because you don't float around in the air nearly as much. Like, here's the thing, so this section on the NES is really easy, where you're fighting the giant snake. The problem is, in this one, whenever you try to jump, half the time you're in mid-air and the game doesn't let you jump. The NES version also does that, but to a much lesser extent. But also, I'm pretty sure on the NES version, whenever you got to one of these screens, you always had a ladder on the left-hand side of the screen, and you could just stand on the ladder and avoid that problem completely. Snake Man. I read that as Sex Man for a second. Sex Man, feel. See, that's the problem with having the flu, is I can't do the Sex Man bit. Up to the same level that I normally can. A Sex Man! It's like, you have to stand so close to the edge of the platform sometimes to make these jumps. Like, in fact, I'll show it here. Let's see how close I can be to the edge of the platform and still be on it. It's like, look at that. Like, I should be falling off the platform here, but I don't, because the game's weird. Okay, that was just bad timing on my part. I'm not going to blame the game for that. That was just... wasn't really paying attention. Now, I will give the game this. It definitely sounds a lot better than Mega Man 1 or 2. Sound-wise, it's way better than those. I have to give it credit. So, Musician Man, I'll give him 4 marks. You know, graphics, I mean, this is not a great colour palette, but that's not the fault of the game, that's just... it's more a limitation of a Game Boy Color. Also, yeah, these things were kind of a pain to deal with in the original. Like the clown enemies, the spring jester, as you may call it. Yeah, there's a little callback that, you know, maybe exactly one person will get. Yeah, this thing, by the way, only ever gives you a weapon refill, which is useless because you're never going to have a weapon upgrade here anyway. So it's like, why even bother programming that into the game if that's all it does? Also, yeah, the jumping is still kind of floaty in a way that it isn't on the NES. Like, the controls, I want to say, are a little bit better than the first one, but they're still... yeah, they've still got issues. It's not perfect, basically. Like there's room for improvement, let's say. And, yeah, so just like Mega Man 1, it's got that problem where the stages are just way too long for their own good. Like, you know, if this was, like, the NES version, I'd pretty much already be at the boss, I think. It's like, okay, we don't know... okay, how do we make... how do we extend the playtime? Let's just add about 15 extra screens and make it so that there are no checkpoints across those extra screens. Also, yeah, it is not even worth going for that E-Tank, unless you've got, you know, some kind of upgrade that allows you to get them, but since I don't, I'm not going to bother. Let's see. I wonder if it's possible to, like, farm for health here. Nope. No such option, because there are no easy enemies in this game. So, I mean, okay, so in what way does this upgrade itself over the first game? Like, okay, let's say this. Controls slightly better, I think. Oh, also, yeah, you remember that shitty checkpoint system from the first game? Yeah, they did not improve on that at all. The checkpoint system is just as shite as it always was. Which, again, Mega Man 3 on the NES definitely had much better checkpoints than this. But that may just be because the levels were shorter. And probably for good reason, I think. Yeah, basically half the tank that hits you. Yeah, so this is Mega Man 3. As you can probably tell by the way I'm on Snake Man's level. Of course, just like the first game, it's also very stingy with power-ups. So, yeah, it's basically a case of, okay, if you get to this level, and you don't have... yeah, you basically don't have full health at the boss. You're never getting full health. I don't know. It's like... what I notice about this is that, as far as the actual level design goes, this is much closer to the original level is than Mega Man 1 was. Like, because you think back to, like, how the Mega Man 1 levels differed from the NES versions. They differed more in terms of just general design. Not necessarily in feel, but also just like, you know, there were a few different obstacles. Whereas this kind of just is a carbon copy of the NES level, except unnecessarily long, and with just some awkward jumps thrown in. Also, the fact that you don't have any of the rush things. Because I'm sure in the NES version of this, you started off with the rush jet. Or not the rush jet, the rush coil. I'm sure you had the rush coil to begin with in the NES version. And then for this one, they were just like, no, you don't get that. We will not give you the rush jet because we're all souls. And the platforming is so awkward too. Because it's like you have to be standing off the platform to make half the jumps, and it just feels terrible to do the jumping in this. You know, it's like... Like, how do I describe this game? This is like the people who made Mega Man 1 on the NES. They realized they fucked up. They were like, okay, yeah, that first game sucked, and we're gonna fix the third game and make it better. Unfortunately, they took the wrong lessons from that first game. Because... It's like the lesson they took was that it wasn't similar enough to the original. When really the problem wasn't to do with similarity, it was just to do with the game playing like shit. Like, this more closely resembles Mega Man 3. But it really doesn't play any better than the first one. Like, it's still brutally unfair and difficult in the exact same way that Mega Man 1 on Game Boy is. It's like they've regressed after Mega Man 2. While it definitely sounds way better, that's the only notable upgrade, I think. You know, sound-wise it's better, in every other respect it's a downgrade from the second game. Like, maybe the graphics are a little bit better, but like, okay, I'm not playing a Mega Man Game Boy game for graphics. Okay, I play it to play a Mega Man Game Boy game. I don't want to play this. Like that, it's like you have to stand off the platform almost to make the jump. And this soundtrack! Yeah, well, it would help if the game didn't cut out randomly. That's not fault of the game, that's just everything being silly. Now, one advantage with this compared to the original is that I can charge my shots at least. Snake Man always takes a lot of damage. See, this is the problem. It's... On the one hand, it's easier because you can charge a shot. On the other hand, it's harder because your jump is kind of nerfed. Oh, I did it! Okay. At least they made the bosses a bit easier compared to the first one, there is that. There we go, Snake Man is down. Okay, here we go. So we've got the Search Snake and the Rush Coil. See, again, I'm sure on the NES version you start with the Rush Coil. Or maybe you get it from like Top Man or one of the really easy bosses, I can't remember. Take care, Electric Boogaloo. Enjoy your day. Okay, well, we'll do, yeah, we'll do Gemini Man next, because I'm pretty sure you used the snakes to beat him. Yeah, because it's like Snake Man, Gemini Man, Needle Man, I think. But Needle Man isn't in this, so I don't know... Like, who's weak to Gemini Man's weapon in this game? Because, again, it's not Needle Man because it's not in this game. Oh, I also like that the enemies do, like, 15 times as much damage as they did in the original. Just totally fair. One of those where you basically have to know where the enemies are going to be in advance and shoot them when they're off screen, or like on the edge of the screen. Yeah. I want to bet that this level is also going to be crazy long. I mean, this level was already long in the original game. I can't imagine how bad it's going to be here. Yeah, I don't know what you do on that bit. Also, I'm pretty certain that enemy wasn't even in Mega Man 3. Or if it was, it wasn't in the stage at the very least. It's like, okay, well, I may as well just deliberately die so that I can get my lives back. Because No sane person is ever going to try leveling this with no lives left. But yeah, like I said, like, Gemini Man stage was already really long to begin with. Or maybe I'm just thinking of, like, you know when you get to, like, the next part of the game and you have to redo certain levels? Except the level designs are actually different, and it's just a case of they're using the same tile sets. And I know Gemini Man stage was one of them, and I just remember his level being particularly long in that bit. There was, like, underwater bit. Except the water worked kind of weirdly. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think the snake is going to work on this bit. Yeah, how you meant to get past that without taking a hit, I don't know. Again, I'm pretty certain that enemy wasn't in Mega Man 3. I think that was a Mega Man 4 enemy they just repurposed. Had to have been. Otherwise I would have remembered it. Like, Mega Man 3 on the NES is arguably the best game on the NES. Certainly, I think the best Mega Man game on the NES, at least. And yeah, this is kind of having the exact same effect the first two games are, where I'm like, you know what, I just want to play those. I just want to play the NES version and tell this version go fuck its face. It's like who want to play this? Oh, you know what? See, this is the moment where you take the game back to the shop and demand a refund. But that's why I said best Mega Man game. But like I say, this is the part where, okay, depending on who you are and what year it is, either you take the Game Boy cartridge out and smash it against the wall, or you take it back to the store and demand a refund. You're like, okay, I would rather eat glass than do that section again. And I did play this game more off stream, so I think we're good to go. Yeah, I think I'm all Mega Man'd out for today. Like, that game has taken it out for me. It's like, you know what? No. I mean, okay, let's compare this to Mega Man 2. Mega Man 2 had much worse music, but the levels were a reasonable length. The checkpoint system made sense. The E-Tanks weren't a pain in the arse to get. Like, there are E-Tanks in this game, but you're never going to get them because the levels are terribly designed. And I think that's the problem with Mega Man 3 on Game Boy. The level designs are terrible. There aren't nearly enough checkpoints. And the game itself is just kind of unfairly difficult, to the extent that it sucks out any of the potential fun the game might have had. And when it's based on such a classic game, that just makes it worse. So it's worse than Mega Man 2. I mean, if anything, we're looking more at Dr. Wily's Revenge territory. Like, is this game better than Dr. Wily's Revenge? Well, let's think about how they improved on that first game. So, the music is better. I will give it that. This game sounds a lot nicer than the original. You know, they have the slide move and the charge shot. So there is that. And I think that's about it. As far as improvements go, that's all they did. Everything else is like a lateral move at best. Because the level designs are still terrible. Okay, whoever they hired to do this, they obviously didn't have a level designer on the team. And I know the fact that Solar Striker did not have level designs. It was just, you know, just some generic background and a bunch of enemies in the foreground, and that was it. So, yeah, the level design is still shit. Again, the levels are way too long. The controls don't quite work. Collision detection doesn't work in the same way as the NES games, and it throws me off, and that's a negative. The bosses aren't as bad, but, you know, having played this game more off stream, and having watched other people play this game off stream, like, I've seen Dustman's level in this game. I've seen people spend hours on the Dustman level. Dustman on the NES does not take hours to beat. And that level alone is like, okay, who actually signed off on this? Who at Capcom looked at that game and was like, okay, this is ready for release. Like, this is 1992. Okay, Super Mario Land 2 is already out at this point. It's just... I mean, on the surface, it's a better game than Mega Man 1. Because, again, there are at least a couple of improvements. You know, sound is better, bosses aren't quite as terrible. You know, you have the charge shot, but... The thing is, you know, after Mega Man 2 being a lot more playable, like, you think they would have taken more cues from that game? So, it's like, well, you know, I expected better for Mega Man 1 on Game Boy. And Mega Man 3 has... Again, it took the wrong lessons that you know, were done with the first game. It's like, they knew that they fucked up, but they had no idea how. It's like they went, this game is bad because it's not close enough to Mega Man 1, when the reality is, it's bad because it plays like arse, and you need to go back and redo the game from the ground up, make the level shorter, maybe add an extra checkpoint or two, improve the controls. They did none of that. And that's where this game really fails, because this game should have been good. You know, like I said, Mega Man 2, like, they rushed that game out, and yet that game was actually still a huge improvement over the original. This is a massive downgrade from the second game. In basically everything apart from the soundtrack, this is a worse game. And that's quite shocking. And I mean, you know, on the one hand, it's better than Mega Man. But it's kind of like a Castlevania The Adventure, Castlevania Legends situation where, you know, Castlevania Legends, in a sense, is technically the better game. But it was also released in, like, 8 years after Castlevania The Adventure, and the standards were a lot higher. And even in 1992, the standards were a lot higher when Mega Man 3 came out. Because, like... It's worse than Super Mario Land 2, which I haven't ranked yet, but I will. But, you know, it's not as good as Super Mario Land 2. It's not as good as Mega Man 2 on Game Boy, which, again, had come out a year before this. Like, there is no excuse for this game to be as bad as it is. You know, like, the fact that Capcom hired this team to make this game after that first... I mean, it was like, okay, we'll give them a second chance. But then they fucked it up again. And rather than cancel it and try to make the game themselves, they just published it. I mean, I would play this over Mega Man 1. Is it better than Beetlejuice? I mean, would I play this game over Beetlejuice? That's a difficult question. Because Beetlejuice is also bad, but for different reasons. Like, because I'm just thinking of the Dustman level. In fact, the Dustman level probably puts it below Mega Man. Actually, no, because there are probably later levels in this that are just as bad. It's like a hair's length better than Mega Man. But I would rather play Beetlejuice over it. It's like, it's very slightly better, but only just. And even then, this game should have been good, and it's terrible. It is a truly terrible game that should not have gotten re-released. The fact that this got re-released and not, say, oh, I don't know, like any other game above this on this list, madness. I don't know what Nintendo was thinking. I guess it was like, you know, we need Mega Man on the, you know, Switch Online service, but, you know, Mega Man X is too expensive, Mega Man 2 on the NES is too expensive. We'll just get, you know, the Game Boy games on there because Capcom's charging tuppence for them. And, you know, there's a reason why Capcom was charging tuppence, is because no one wants to play this shit. I mean, even in 1992, I can't imagine anyone actually wanting to play this. So you know what? Rather than play the rest of the Mega Man games, because I can't. I can't do it. I need to play something that's not Mega Man. Let's get a different cartridge, one that will not take long. This will be a bit of a shorter stream today. And the reason why it's going to be a short stream, because, again, my voice isn't great. But, where's the one I'm looking for? Yeah, here we go. So this is another one that I did previously. Super Hits 2002 40-in-1. But there's a game on this I want to do. So we've got a few games to cover. Ooh. So yeah, you may remember this from one of the previous streams. Color 40-in-1. Yeah, I'll bet. Yep, V-Rally, Super Mario Land, Ninja Turtles, and Tom and Jerry. I have not covered these games yet. So let's get a start with some V-Rally on the Game Boy. What's a good palette for that? Ooh. Yeah, that'll do. Here we go, V-Rally for Game Boy. I think there was a colour version of this, but for some reason they stuck the monochrome version on this cartridge. Even though supposedly this is a colour-based multi-cart, so I don't know what's going on with that. Oh, theme music there. Ooh, maybe I'll do Mega Man 4 next time. Okay, let's do the arcade mode. So we got Peugeot 306, the Impreza. I love the Impreza. That's just one of the coolest looking cars, full stop. Ford Escort, Mitsubishi Lancer. Well, we're gonna do. Do I want to do Impreza though? I mean, yeah, I want to do one that's got like a good grip. We'll do the Peugeot 306. Why not? There we go. Arcade mode. Okay, we'll do easy, I guess. Yes, welcome to the beautiful island of Corsica. Ooh, here we go. Oh, but you look at this. You see how smooth this game is? Ooh. Like, it's a really nice action. Yeah, seriously, really nice action. I could put this lid up and down all day. Oh, oh! Okay, that was me being a fool. But, yeah. How do you think this ranks amongst all your favourite super hits? See, this game is really smooth for Game Boy. Like, you know, you look at that, you know, distortion effect from the road. Some of the best I've seen on an 8-bit system. Any 8-bit system, including the consoles and whatever. Oh! Got away with that. Like I say, there is a colour version of this, which is, I think, the exact same game, except it looks a bit nicer. But this will do for now. Ooh. Though, yeah, so V-Rally, I mean, there were numerous versions of this back in the day, from Infograms, bringing us the innovation, because that's what they're best at. But yeah, so this was released on various systems. It was also on the PlayStation and Nintendo 64, and I have played those versions. And let me say for the record that the console versions of V-Rally are fucking awful. It's the kind of thing, like, much like the Mega Man games I was just looking at, they're the kind of games that look fine. You know, like, you look up a video of them, and you're like, oh yeah, this looks like a good game, and then you play it, and it just plays fucking awful. The controls in that game are messed up, where it's like, you steer, and half the time, you'll, like, immediately slam into the nearest wall. And other times you barely turn at all. It's very inconsistent with how the turning works in it. And it's kind of funny, because this Game Boy version doesn't have that problem. Like, the controls in this work fine. You know, I can steer around the corners, just, you know, like any other 8-bit racing game. Like, it's interesting, because again, this actually controls infinitely better than the console versions. Even though those were, you know, the versions that people wanted to play back in the day. Like, and it's kind of weird, because V-Rally got pretty good reviews on consoles back in the day, but I play it now and I'm like, okay, this is just unplayable. And again, I don't have that problem with the Game Boy version, so I don't think it's just me. I really think it does come down to differences between the different versions. Oh, you sod. What is he doing? Why is he being a complete git? Yeah, the graphics in this are really nice. I mean, this is a late-era Game Boy game. We're talking, like, 1998, I think. So this would have been around the time Game Boy Color was out. Which, again, like I said, there is a Game Boy Color version of this, so... kind of makes sense, really. As you can see, you've got different types of obstacles that you come across on the higher difficulties. You don't really see them on easy, but you'll get things like roadblocks and hills that you have to, like, not crash on. You'll see what I mean in a bit. I will have a quick go on the normal difficulty rally. I don't really need to show this one off too much, because what you see is what you get with a game like this, really. But, you know, I like that it keeps the positions of the cars that you overtake. Like, you can fall behind if you mess up. Whereas in a lot of earlier racing games, the cars just cease to exist when you overtake them. So I like that. And again, the controls are great. You know, they're kind of fluent in a way that the other versions of V-Rally were not. And it's really weird saying that, because, like, V-Rally 2 on consoles play perfectly fine. Like, they kind of ironed out all the problems that the first game had. Yeah, it's like, yeah, you want to play V-Rally, I'd say, you know, play this version, or play V-Rally 2 on PlayStation, because that one's really good. As I say, V-Rally 1 on PlayStation is awful, but, you know, second one is quite good. Or you could just play Colin McRae Rally, but was there ever, like, a Game Boy version of that? I don't think there was. But I imagine it would have played quite similarly to this. But yeah, here we go. Got my Sega Rally skills going right here. I mean, this does feel a bit more like Sega Rally than it does V-Rally in terms of the feel. Though maybe I'm just saying that because the controls aren't shite. That might be the difference. But there were a lot of rally games coming out in the late 90s. You know, Sega Rally 2, Tommy Mackinnon Rally, Colin McRae Rally. I don't know what it was about rally games at this time. I think there were a few coming out on Neo Geo around that time as well. Maybe. Here we go. 5 credits. I am the master. Yes. Password is fast. Wonderful. Okay, so let's have a quick go on media. So there is a championship mode in this game as well, which is similar to the arcade mode with a couple of differences. The first difference is... So there are 10 tracks in this game. So from what I remember, you do 2 of the tracks... So in arcade mode, you do 2 of the tracks on easy. You do 3 tracks on medium, I think. And then you do the other 5 tracks on hard. And you win by just finishing the races. So it doesn't matter what position I finish in. As long as I finish the race, I'll qualify for the next one. So it's just a case of if you run out of time, then you lose a credit. Now the championship mode, again, has a few important differences. Namely that the races are all done sequentially. So you do all 10 of them in a single session, basically. But yeah, you got the hills here. You have to brake, otherwise you, like, flip over. But anyway. Yeah, so... in the championship mode, again, it plays more or less the same, except you have to do all 10 races in one go. There's no timer, so you can't run out of time. Instead, it's based on points. So you get a different amount of points based on what position you finish in. So generally, you just want to try to, you know, finish first in every race. And also, the levels are in a different order. So in this arcade mode, the levels are in a somewhat linear order in terms of difficulty, where they usually, well, for the most part, they kind of gradually get harder. Whereas in the championship mode, yeah, the difficulty is a bit more all over the place. Like, you start off with one of the more difficult levels, I think. But then the second level's easier. I seem to recall that was how it worked anyway. But yeah, I've got no complaints with this one. You know, after Megaman, I need this. I need some V-Rally action. So, ooh. Because you know what? Rally games are just kind of my thing, really. But to be fair, I mean, I also like Mega Man when it's done well. When it's done badly, I don't want to play it, but I suppose I could say it for Rally as well, so kind of in the same boat. Whoa! Oh no, I messed up. Okay. We got to fall behind here, I think. Ooh. You know, there was one other racing game I played a little bit like this. I think it was called... No, I can't remember the name. It was like a homebrew game. And that one looked kind of cool, but it also just didn't play very well. Sometimes you get sucked into turns, rather than, like, you know, go off the other way. It's like... Yeah, it's like you would go off in the wrong direction in a way that just didn't make any sense. Top-down combat. You know, there was a cheat code in the first game on the PlayStation where you could have like a Micro Machine style view, and it makes it pretty close to unplayable. I couldn't get anywhere in that mode. Here we go. Welcome to Italy, with a giant Colosseum in the background. Okay. Ooh. Yeah, so here we go. So now we've got oil slicks to deal with. And I think there's roadworks that you have to avoid as well. We'll see that in a bit. Like, there are one or two other types of obstacles that show up. I forget exactly. It's like there's a snow level. And I can't remember what else. But I do know that sort of later on they kind of mix up the obstacles a bit more, which takes a bit of learning the levels. Like, yeah, for the expert levels, it helps to, like, know what's coming in advance on those ones, I think, in general. So that way you know whether to brake or to just keep going. But yeah, it's like... See, I like this game. You know, the road is a nice width. The controls are... Again, the controls are good. You know, track designs are fine. There's a nice little bit of variation in the tracks with the obstacles. And, of course, you've also got, like, the elevation as well, where you've got, like, hills like this. I like that. It's one thing that I feel isn't in enough 8-bit racing games. And the cars do vary in terms of handling and various other bits and bobs, where, you know, like the Impreza, if you can master the turning in this, you can go really fast with that one. Maybe I'll show that one off in a bit. Okay. Oh, don't crash into the oil. But yeah, was there ever a Game Boy version of Mr. Do? Sorry, Game Boy Color version, that's what I meant to say. Maybe even a Game Boy Advance version. I would play that any day. Preferably one that feels more like the arcade as opposed to that weird Game Boy version I played. Okay. Yeah, we made it. So I think there's a third track on this. Let's see. Look at that. I got the best time. Because I got the skills. we go. French Alps. Yep, it's infograms, so we need multiple games that take place, or multiple rallies that take place in France. But here we go, welcome to the snow level. I forgot there were 2. Because there's a Sweden level towards the end. Whenever I think of Sweden in rally games, I always think of Colin McRae Rally. Because, I just remember the AI just wasn't any good at that one. Because, like, they always have to go super slow. But it's also really easy to spin out. I don't think the car really spins out in this one, though. Oh, no, I forgot about this. Yep, got the rocks on the road. I don't know. Are they rocks or are they, don't know. Now, one thing I do find a bit weird about this is that I don't think there's an option for manual gears. Like, you can only use automatic. Which is kind of weird for a rally game, but, you know, oh, couldn't see that. Oh yeah, the Quest game. I think there are multicarts out there that do have that game as well. I don't have one, unfortunately, but I'm sure there's a thing. Though, at the convention I went to, they did have a few multicarts there. I picked up a couple. Actually, I'll see if I can... Yeah, I know I picked up one. There's not much to show off with it, but I may show that in a bit. It's not much of interest, but yeah. Okay, so this race, I just can't do it. Yeah, it turns out the snow is a bridge too far for me. Actually, I did beat the arcade mode playing this before. Yeah, this is where the game actually starts to get kind of difficult. Because those rocks, they do appear in different places. I mean, it's not randomized. It's the same place every time, I think. But yeah, it's like okay, this time they appear on the right, but next time they might appear on the left. So you got to be ready for that. You think they'd just clear the mess off the road, but that, you know, might make the game a bit too easy if they did. Actually, what happens if I finish in, like, 5th place? Don't know. See if I can get to the end and find out. Because I think when I was playing this before, I was playing it on Pro, and I want to say Pro is the same as... Because I think it's difficulty, like, amateur by default. I think Pro just reduces the amount of time you have to make it to the end. Or maybe it makes the enemies more... Maybe it makes the opposing cars more aggressive. I'm not sure, but... Ooh, here we go. Okay, I swear when I played this before, some of the rocks appeared on the left. Maybe that's just on the later levels? I don't know. Maybe this one's a bit different. Ugh! Okay. Yeah, sometimes if you crash into something you don't flip over. I think it's based on speed. So there we go, finish in 5th place. Let's see what happens. Oh, there's a homebrew on the Neo Geo Pocket Color. That actually sounds kind of interesting. Maybe they finish it up. You ready for some food? You know what, I'm gonna indulge in a bit of licorice all sorts. Because SPR. Well, used to be anyway. Maybe not so much now. Okay, let's go into options. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Also, here we go, signs on. So I assume if you turn this off, it doesn't tell you if there's a turn coming, which... I guess if you need to make the game harder, I'm sure, but... Actually, let's set the difficulty to... Yeah, set to Pro, just because. We'll quickly go to the Championship mode, just so I can show you the differences. Let's go for the Impreza just because I feel like it. So we go back to Italy. I think it's the same track design as before. I might be wrong, but I think it is. But yeah, here we go. See, I love when games just use words as passwords. Like, just a random word. Like, there was that one... what was that game on the... What was it? Net Eurozzi? Pushy 2B, I think it was called. Where, what was it? Like, all the passwords were just names. It's like, okay, welcome to level Joanna. Here's level Ronnie. Yeah. Can't wait to go to level Bertram. Yeah. But I heard that, you know, that Howard was the most difficult level of them all. Like, you do not want to deal with level Howard. It's a bastard. Yeah, but you see this. So, yeah, when you get a handle on the controls, like, this just feels great to play. It's that kind of thing, you're just like, yeah, I'm just going to take the... just going to take all these turns at breakneck speed. But I can't break my neck because it's a video game. And they didn't program that in there. Just, you know, fine. Because otherwise, that might be kind of annoying if that was a thing. Also, I'm not sure what happens if you crash into the oil. Like, does the car spin out or do you flip over or... Don't know. Whoa. Okay. So... But yeah. So like I said, in the arcade mode you had a timer to get to the checkpoints. But in this mode you don't. But I'm trying to overtake this git, and it's just not working. Of course, it keeps blocking me off because it's an arsehole. No! Get the way, you Burke. I don't know if changing the difficulty just makes them switch lanes more. That's probably what that does. So the AI deliberately just crashes into you so you can't overtake them. There we go. Okay, let's not crash into the roadworks. Or the house. Generally not advisable. Ooh. Oh yeah, the classic Metal Gear password. It's kind of interesting that this game has vowels in its passwords, because, you know, this was, what, 1998? But yeah, so this is the difference. So, you want to try to finish first in every race, just so that you have more points than everyone else. That's about it, really. So, we'll get level 2, which is Greece. I seem to recall this being one of the hardest levels. In fact, the arcade mode is pretty good practice on this mode, I think. At least I would say so. Because in that one, you don't have to place high to have a chance of winning. But yeah, if this is the level I think it is, I want to say there's like a whole bunch of obstacles in this one. And yeah, there you go. It gets quite difficult quite early on. But anyway, yeah, I think I'll leave that there, because again, there's not a whole lot more to show with V-Rally. I mean, how do you think it compares to Megaman, Dr. Wily's Revenge? You know, it controls smoother, sounds a bit nicer. I mean, there's no in-game music, but the music that is there is fine. Graphics are very well done. It's a lot more playable, that's for sure. So yeah, it's better than Dr. Wily's Revenge. As far as racing games go, I mean, this is way better than Dead Heat Scramble. That game was just a pain. Anyway, yeah, that's my opinion on Dead Heat Scramble. Is, you know what, just makes me want to... I would have more fun spraying stuff in my nose, or inhaling things with my nose, rather than playing that game again. So yeah. It's better than Soul Striker, easily. It's better than Street Rider. It's better than Racing Damacy, because Racing Damacy didn't control nearly as well. The graphical effects were a lot less impressive. No, it's better than that. Like, we have not had a good selection of racing games so far, but this is a good one. In fact, let's go up this list. I mean, it's better than Q-Billion. It's better than Matchmania or Mr. Do. It's better than Wild Snake. It's better than Gargoyle's Quest. It's better than Heavyweight Championship Boxing. It's better than Mr. Chin's Gourmet Paradise. As good as that game is, this is better than that. It's better than RoboCop. As much as RoboCop has the theme song, it doesn't have the fluid racing action of V-Rally. You know, it's better than Pipe Dream. Because Pipe Dream, I would say that there are maybe better versions of it out there, whereas, like I said earlier, with V-Rally, the console versions just control like arse and are not worth playing. They just do not play well at all. This plays way better than those, so it's better than Pipe Dream. Better than Bomb Jack, for a similar reason. Same for Minesweeper. It's like, I mean, there are better versions of those games out there. Super Mario Land had some control issues in a way that V-Rally doesn't. It looks a lot nicer, though it was also a late era game, so you kind of expect that. But choosing between playing this game or Super Mario Land again, I'd go for V-Rally. But is it better than Tetris? So again, it's a case where there are better versions of Tetris out there. Tetris is a great game. And it's got that certain addicting quality that most other games don't have. But what Tetris doesn't have is the graphics of V-Rally. Like, V-Rally is a much nicer looking game. It's one of the best looking Game Boy games. And it certainly doesn't sacrifice on gameplay. It's got at least as much in terms of options. It plays very well. You know, as far as racing games go, it's up there as one of the best 8-bit racing games, alongside the likes of Rad Racer and the Master System port of Road Rash. So it's better than Tetris. But is it better than Bubble Ghost? This is a very important question. Is V-Rally a better game than Bubble Ghost? Because V-Rally has the Subaru Impreza. You know, it has Italy. It has snow. It has roadworks. But it doesn't have a bubble. And it doesn't have a ghost. And, you know, like, you think about what it's missing. There's no option for manual gears, which for a rally game is kind of strange. It doesn't have... I don't know. Like, it doesn't have any in-game music. Like, that's one thing that Bubble Ghost has over this. It has that awesome in-game theme song. And V-Rally just gets some sound effects. I mean, the sound effects are fine, but they don't have anything on the Bubble Ghost theme. So yeah, I think V-Rally is our new number 2. Oh, also, let me fix something here. There, much better. Yeah, but you know what? It's the best Game Boy killer game I've played so far. Hasn't been much in the way of quality in this series yet, but V-Rally Championship Edition, you know, shout out to Ocean, shout out to Velez and Dubail. You know, it's really sad that, like, the best games I've played in this series so far have all been from Ocean. And it's also infinitely better than any of the Megaman games I've played today. Like, you expect quality from Megaman. And didn't get it. But let's see what else we've got on this cartridge. So, next up on this list, we've got Super Mario Land. Okay, let's see what this one's about. Ah, yes. Yeah, I remember Super Mario World 7 on the Game Boy. What even is this? What are we even looking at here? Super Super Mario World 7 from 1998. Oh yeah, that classic Game Boy Color game. Yeah, this is what Nintendo doesn't want you to see. Okay, well, let's see what we've got. Oh yeah, I love that Mario head, by the way. Looks amazing. Oh god, what's going on with his... Well, okay, maybe that's a problem with the Game Boy Color palette rather than the game. Though that's definitely not Mario's head on the top right. I'm just saying. But here we go. So, yeah. What do you think of Super Mario World 7? So we've got a weird-looking Goomba. Like, what's going on with the Goomba's eyes? Get that. Oh. No, apparently my hammers go over it as well. Yeah, remember Mario 3? Is it Mario 3? Where you could take the hammer power up and start throwing it? There was definitely a Mario game where you could do that, and I've forgotten which one it is, and I feel like an idiot. But, yeah, where do you think this fits in the Mario canon? You know, like, yeah, do you think this is the follow-up to Granddad? So yeah, he collects flowers for some reason. Also, yeah, here we go, Mario on a skateboard. This is just like that one bootleg toy set they did. It's like, here's Mario on a skateboard. Okay, so it was Mario 3, I didn't misremember that. Oh good, here we go, the bottomless pit level. Wonderful. See if we'll get the animal helpers in this. So, okay, let's drop the pretense. So this... Well, you should recognise this, because you know, at the start of this Game Boy Killer series, I did play a game called Adventure Island 2. And this is clearly Adventure Island 3. Normally, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference on the NES, because they're the exact same game. Okay, that was the game just being bollocks. But yeah, normally on the NES, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference, because they're the same game on that system. But on Game Boy... You can tell the difference by the way that Adventure Island 3 is a bit more polished than the second one. Maybe a little bit harder to tell here because of the weird sprite work going on with this version, but... Yeah, it's, Of course, the projectile goes over, like, most of the enemies. Wonderful. I was playing this a little bit off stream as well, just so I'd have a frame of reference when I get to covering this one. Okay, how am I meant to dodge that? It's like, it's a case where you can only avoid that if you know the enemy's there well in advance. That's amazing design, lads. Wonderful. Appreciate it. Pretty sure the NES version, you could just see the enemies in advance, so you could at least have time to dodge them. This one, they don't even do that. It's like, okay, you don't know the enemy's going to be there in advance? Well, fuck you, you're dead. I did get further in this, playing this on the emulator. Actually, is this Adventure Island 3? I think it is. Can someone confirm... Is this Adventure Island 3 or is this Adventure Island 2 again? Because I just want to be absolutely certain. Okay, that enemy is impossible to dodge. Great. You know, I would play the stupid Goomba game any day. Give me that, I'll be down. And don't make it a Game Boy exclusive. So I want to be able to, like, see where the enemies are. Here we go. You know, I like the stupid Goomba. The stupid Goomba actually is the best part of the game. So where are the bonus levels? There are bonus areas in this, but yeah, so again, same problem as before. If you don't know the enemy's there in advance, you just die. always lets me restart here. Oh, okay, so I don't lose the power-ups when I die? Okay, that's interesting. So yeah, I think I may have noticed a bit of a problem with this game, where it's basically, okay, you have to know where certain enemies are going to be in advance, otherwise you just take a hit. Just kind of a problem, like the NES games I think had that a little bit, but again, the fact that the screen was a lot bigger on the NES made it much less of a problem. Also, yeah, there's no way anyone's ever getting those eggs that spawn off to the left. And the reason for that is you can't scroll back to the left, which is really weird, because every Mario game after the first one, you could do that. So why they reverted it for this one, I don't know. Okay, here we go. Isn't this where the boss is? Or is that... There was definitely, like, an underwater boss level, I remember that. You know, soundtrack's pretty good. But to be fair, I mean, as much as sometimes the enemies can blindside you by just being too quick, at least you move reasonably fast. You know, control-wise, this feels a lot like the NES version. So I can't really fault that. So what's going on with the font? I swear there's something wrong with the font, like some of the numbers are shaded and some of them aren't. I don't know what's going on with that. Here we go. Mario versus the Mighty Octopus. Also, oh no, okay, I can collect that. For a second I was like, okay, you basically can't collect it unless, things there. Unless you have the right weapon or whatever. The right layout. Also, this I never understood. It's like, okay, here's the aubergine of doom. Just never made any sense to me. Again, it's one of those things where it's like, you kind of have to know which item has that so you can avoid it. Like, there's a lot of memorization in this game. Yeah, the aubergine of doom, that's what I call it. I'm going to save the power-ups just in case I need them, because it's a case where it's like, okay, you're not necessarily going to know which power-ups are optimal for any given level until you go into it. And I know there are bonus areas in this, I just can't find any of them. So I remember finding them before, but now, of course, now that I'm streaming this game, I can't find it. And I can't remember if you can fall down these pits and not die. I'm going to assume no. Because I don't trust this game. Yeah, of course, lose that thing immediately, wonderful. See, this is why Mario should have just stuck to mushrooms. At least then have, like, an extra hit. Yeah. Well, who's got the budget to anti-alias things? Okay, this is the Game Boy, circa 1998. Who's going to buy this? Well, me, obviously, but other than that. You think I fit any real demographic? I don't think so. Yeah, I don't know about this one. But I don't know. I mean, I will say for the record, I was never a big Adventure Island fan. And I think playing this, I kind of get why. It's just, I don't like having to memorize the levels the way that this game makes you do it. It's just, I don't know. Because, like, I compare this to a game like Sonic. And in Sonic, you could just keep taking hits. Hold on, where is the bonus? There was a bonus thing here earlier, now it's not doing it. There we go. Oh, I don't remember this bit. I got the meat! Except I can't touch it for some reason. Okay, that's weird. Okay, so I got the meter filled up at least, so that's something. Not that it matters, because I mean, The thing is, the meter is rarely ever a concern, unless you happen to, like, crash into one of those, you know, aubergine things. The only thing that's ever going to kill you is the enemies. Okay. So I think this is the boss level? Yeah, okay, I remember this. Oh, that's right, you have to run to the right, I forgot about that. I remember there's a boss here, I just don't remember exactly what happens. I mean, there was also a Game Boy version of, what was it, Bonk's Adventure? I used to have that on the multicart, but then the multicart died. Okay, how am I meant to dodge that? So we'll give you exactly enough space between these two projectiles to fit through if you do it pixel perfectly. But if you can't do that, then go fuck yourself. That's basically what the game's saying. But yeah, it's one of those games where if you don't know the enemy patterns back to front, you're pretty much forced to just spam projectiles until you know where everything is. And that's just no fun to me. I don't know. Like I say, I never got into this series, and I think a lot of it is to do with that. Where I'm just like, okay, the combat's just no fun to me. It's like, I'd rather just play, like, well, a Mario game, for one. Or a Sonic game. Because Mario had better attacks than this. And he didn't die in one hit, usually. Okay, it's like, how is... Okay, that's literally impossible to dodge. You can't jump high enough. Or jump far enough, at least. Just, I don't know. It's one of those games where it's like, there's something to it, but I don't think it comes together. Like, if I got to use the animal helpers the whole time, maybe it would be more fun. But the fact that the game doesn't even let me do that most of the time, it's like, no. Type of thing where it's like, I'd rather just put in, like a Game Genie code to just have infinite amount of them. Oh, and also, this enemy, like, whatever character, literally doesn't even have an attack. So that character ends up being completely useless. Like, unless you're underwater, there's literally no reason to ever use it. But it's also a case of, well, how would you know that ahead of time? So, it's like, okay, I've had to waste all my items because the game doesn't give you any more. And this level doesn't even have any at the beginning. And you have to wait like half an hour for this stupid screen to end as well. Oh, I didn't want to go into the password screen, Burke. Okay, so I should point out, so I pressed select, and it immediately went to the bottom option. So now it won't even let me continue. Like, I literally have to reset the game to get back to where I was. Like, that has to be, like, the worst menu design I've ever seen. Like, even Megaman, you have to quit out the game to enter a password, but... Like, this game has the exact opposite problem. You can select the password option by accident, and it doesn't even fill in the password for you like any sensible game would do. Instead, you have to manually enter the password, so if you weren't paying attention to what the password was, you effectively have to restart the whole game, because you can't quit out of this screen. You have to restart the game. The Game Boy doesn't have a reset button, so you can't save your progress. I'm sorry, this is the worst menu I've ever seen in my life. So where does this go on the list? Okay. Well, it's no V-Rally, I can tell you that much. And it's also no Super Mario Land. You know, like, Super Mario Land has its issues, but you didn't die in one hit, because Mario wasn't a Burke in that game. I mean, where does it compare? So where's Adventure Island 2? You know, it's kind of funny, because, again, much like Mega Man 2, compared to the first one, or no, much like Mega Man 3, it's got that kind of expectation where I would expect this to be better than the previous game, and it looks better than the previous game, But it doesn't play as well as the previous one. Like, I had a lot more fun with Adventure Island 2 on Game Boy. It's like I'd rather just play that. Even though the soundtrack isn't as good, it plays better than this game does. It understood the limitations of the Game Boy better, and because of that, it played better than this. So it's worse than that. It's worse than Yars' Revenge, the Kotal Ultimatum. It's not as good as Ms. Pac-Man, or regular Pac-Man. It's not as good as Mr. Do. It's not as good as DuckTales. It's not as good as Side Pocket Versus. It's definitely not as good as Matchmania. It is better than Asteroids, though. Yeah, I think... Yeah, Super Mario World 7, congratulations to our new number 48 on this list. You know, shout out to Hudson Soft and whoever did this version of the game, I don't know. I think I'm going to take another quick break just to give myself a little mental detox. But I'll be back in a minute for some more games, so don't go away. And we are back. Okay, so let's get the color palette ready for this next one. So this one is Ninja Turtles. Let's play. Is this the color palette I want? Yeah, here we go. Ninja Turtles for the Game Boy. Let's do it. Yes, from Konami, because they did all the Ninja Turtles games back then. Radical Rescue. Oh no. Oh, okay. So let's see what we've got going on with Radical Rescue. More like Radical Fescue. I don't know what I'm getting with that. But yeah, Radical Rescue for the Game Boy. So you can kind of see what this game is about early on. Oh yeah, the most radical of all rescues. Okay, let's actually get into this. Oh, here we go. Nice little intro. Oh, the music though. Was this in one of the other Ninja Turtles games? I think it may have been. Like maybe one of the other Game Boy games. Because I have seen all of the Ninja Turtles Game Boy games streamed in the past. And I do have all of them on the Cowabunga collection on the Switch. I never streamed that, but I do own a copy of it. So, I do have this on there. And I think that one... So it has like the American and Japanese versions, I think, and maybe the European ones, I can't remember. But yeah. So, Ninja Turtles on the Game Boy, so... I think there was one that was kind of like a beat-em-up, one that was a bit of a platformer. And then you have this game where I think they kind of made it into more of a Metroidvania. Which, is interesting in concept. You know, I can't really think of any other Ninja Turtles Metroidvania games. They made plenty of beat-em-ups. You know, there was the Tournament Fighters games. And I say games because while, you know, you just had Tournament Fighters, 3 versions of it, they were all practically completely different games. Which is kind of weird. But yeah, so basically, you know, the Ninja Turtles have been kidnapped, except for Michelangelo, who was, like, off getting some pizzas, I guess. Michelangelo ran off, and now, Michelangelo. Yeah. I don't know. You know, I wish the Cheetah Men had a Game Boy game. I would have played it. Like, the Cheetah Men demand a return. Like, if the Ninja Turtles can keep getting merchandise for, you know, 30 plus years, close to uninterrupted, because there's proof that the Ninja Turtles are just inherently cool, to the extent that, you know, I mean, kids nowadays know who the Ninja Turtles are, because it's like, who doesn't like the Ninja Turtles? You know, it's like, Ninja Turtles are great, because they're ninjas, they're teenage, they're mutants, and they're also turtles. And they got a great theme song about being heroes in a half shell. Also, I think the turtles in this have like different abilities, but I forget what the abilities are. I don't remember what Michelangelo's is. I think he may just have like a longer attack. Oh no, that's right. He has this kind of glide move. They're like Knuckles in the Sonic games. But yeah, this was 1993, so we're talking, you know, we're talking like mid-period game. I'm trying to remember where I'm supposed to go at this point. I have played this game a little bit, so I have some idea on what to do. I just don't remember the exact way to progress. Can I just climb up the trees? I guess not. Oh no, that's right, you're supposed to do this. Yeah. So like I say, Michelangelo, he basically uses his nunchucks to do a weird glide move. I mean, they got some creative uses out of the weapons in this. And some of the other Ninja Turtles games as well. Ooh. You know, I have to say, this game does have a really good soundtrack. Graphics are also really good. I mean, this is, again, 1993 on the Game Boy. You know, this is up there in terms of presentation, definitely. So if I pause the game, so firstly, okay, so if I press start, it comes up with this screen. So, you know, I don't have the other turtles yet because they got kidnapped. So there are shades of Ninja Turtles on the NES in this, where it's kind of like a side-scroller, and the Ninja Turtles can get captured. But in this game, you only have Michelangelo, and in that game, you start off with all of them. So for some reason, it just says Cowabunga on the bottom. That's kind of weird. I think you get, like, passwords later on, or... No, so yeah, I think once you get to a certain point in the game, so on the bottom it will tell you what the password is, but I don't think I have one yet. So I think what I'm supposed to do... I think I'm actually supposed to go down, but I'll check up first, just in case this... no, that's right, I just came from that. Naturally, this being a Konami game from 1993, it's going to have enemies that constantly respawn if you go, like, 2 inches out of the way. Because that's just how games were back then. I never understood why games did that, other than it's like a cheap way to make it more difficult. Yeah, see, the problem is Michelangelo, he likes pizzas too much to be able to learn how to climb. So do I not use the pizza automatically? Maybe it's like the rations in Metal Gear. You should use them when you run out of health, I guess. I don't know. Okay, I do find it amusing that setting the colours in this makes it so that I can just see what's going to fall. Also, I keep forgetting... Yeah, so select is to look at the map. But like I say, it's a bit Metroid-esque with the maps. Like, horizontal sections, vertical sections. Just like that game, really. Of course, it does have that problem where, for these vertical sections at least, it can be hard to see what's above or below you just because of the screen size. But, you know, kind of common issue with gameplay, really. Well, I mean, even like NES games to a point, I think. So go to the right. I've got... Yeah, so you also cannot attack in mid-air for some reason. Even though it really looks like you should be able to, but it's like... No, you can attack in mid-air as long as you're not doing the glide thing. They didn't program in a animation for that. So to get around that, they just make it so you can't attack. Also, yeah, the bit where you're outside, that's just like the beginning of the game, I think. Also, yeah, how you're meant to do that without taking damage, I don't know. Like, they placed the enemy way too close to it. Of course, they could have just not had an enemy there at all, but, you know. Like that, like, okay, how do I avoid taking a hit there? Like, there's no way to do that, because... Yeah, I don't get it. Oh, great, because, yeah, there was totally a way to know that ahead of time. Wonderful. Oh, I got my health back at least. And I kind of need that. It's like, how am I meant to avoid half this shit? Like, everything's just way too fast. You don't really get time to react. A bit like the Adventure Island game, though. Maybe not quite as bad, because at least the screen scrolls backwards. So you can kind of backtrack if you need to. Where is the boss fight? So, I think I'm supposed to go... Hold on, am I supposed to go down, or am I supposed to go up? Like, which dot am I supposed to go to first? So, the dots, I think, are just pointing out, like, important locations on the map. Though I do know in the Japanese version, they point out a lot more locations where there's like, things on the map that, you know, they have certain properties. Like, maybe it's like, okay, here's where you go for health, here's where you go to for like, power-ups or whatever. Of course, they don't explain any of that for the overseas versions. Now, I seem to recall the bosses in this thing are the worst thing in the universe. So it's basically the classic Konami technique of, we're going to give each boss like 15 different patterns, and it's random as to which one they'll do at any given time. Yeah, so like that. It's like, how is anyone going to know that in advance? You're not. And you go in without any power-ups. So basically, if you don't beat it the first time, it puts you at a massive disadvantage. Also, like, yeah, using this GameCube analog thing sucks. Because it's like, sometimes it just, like, loses grip. But yeah, that is what the bosses in this game are like. beating the bosses in this is, like, it's not happening. Yeah, like, you thought the bosses in Ninja Turtles on the NES were hard. Yeah, you tried doing this shit, and it's, like, 50 times worse. Because you have so much less health. Like, you effectively get 3 hits to do this entire boss fight. Yeah. And that's it. It's like, yeah. Good luck, kids! Okay, have fun with your Ninja Turtles game where you get, like, 2 lives to beat the entire thing. I'll say for the record, I was never really a fan of, like, 90s era Konami. At least not on console. They made some good arcade games around that time, but when it comes to, like, home console games, I can't really think of many I like from them. I don't know. And I think they, more so than, like, most other companies, were really into, let's make the games unnecessarily hard for the Western market. Like, this game is the perfect example of that. Like, yeah. It's one of those where it's just like, okay, this is... Yeah. So from what I remember, the Japanese version of this is considerably easier. Like, the bosses are still the worst thing in the universe. But I think in that one you got infinite continues, and like I say, the map screen was more helpful. In that you actually got more of an indication as to, like, what things did on the map screen. Like, you can look it up online somewhere. But yeah, like I say, it's... Again, you're given more information as to, like, what to do in any given area. Like, things that you were not told in this version. Why they didn't choose to include the Japanese version on here, I don't know. Because people who make multicards, they loved including Japanese versions of games where it wasn't needed. Yeah, I mean, there was also that. I mean, Konami, they were so adamant on people not beating their games that, like, pirate copies of their games were often literally unbeatable. Though, I mean, part of that is on the pirates themselves for not, you know, testing the game to make sure it was beatable. So, you can shed the blame on that one a bit more equally. But, yeah, I mean, Konami are somewhat infamous for that. But yeah, I mean, again, you've got sections like that where it's like, okay, you just get blindsided because you can't see where the enemy is. And again, like, okay, how am I supposed to avoid getting hit there? As far as I'm aware, it's literally impossible. And if anyone knows of a solution to that, I'd love to know it. But I don't know. I mean, see, when I think of, like, Ninja Turtles games, like, they're a really weird mix of like, really good and really bad. Like, on the one hand, you have, like, the, you know, the arcade game and Turtles in Time. And then, on the other hand, you've got Ninja Turtles for the NES, which is not a good game. I don't know. Some people like it. I've always found it to be kind of rubbish. Just wait. Like, unnecessarily hard and jank. I mean, to be fair, this game is at least not jank the way that game is. But then you have stuff like that where it's like, okay, well, how am I supposed to avoid that the first time? Like, you just have to know the enemy's going to be there in advance, which is... Yeah, that's not very good design, I don't think. Like, yeah, just spawn me into the path of an enemy in a way that I can't possibly avoid it, unless I know it's already going to be there. I mean, that is classic Konami, like, 90s era Konami design. I'll say that. Like, I'll give the game this, the soundtrack is really good. Then you get stuff like this, where it's like, okay, we're just gonna make all the enemies respawn. It's like... And, like, I literally can't even tell where I am on the map. Because the map screen isn't as clear as it could be about, like... Okay, well, how big is each individual area? Because it looks like it's like, okay, 2 screens wide. At least they don't force me to go through all that again, as long as I don't press right there at the beginning. Okay. Great. You can't just go into the room, because that would have been too easy. Yeah, here's a better idea. Maybe just don't program the key mechanic into the game in the first place. I guess they had to, because it was like Metroidvania. But of course, there's nothing on the map that tells you where the key might be found. Like, I'm sure there is in the Japanese one, but not in this one. I mean, like, this is a game where I could barely beat the regular enemies, and then the game expects me to, like, beat, like, massive bosses whose health bar is literally 4 times bigger than mine. I mean, I know it shows twice as big on the, like, heads-up display. In reality, it's 4 times bigger, because they do twice as much damage to you as you do to them. I don't know. Has anyone ever unlocked any other turtle in this? That's my question. Oh, and it actually makes you redo the whole game if you continue. Actually, I do remember something about this game. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, you know, like that bit on the boss fight, that's as far as I've ever gotten in this. I've never gotten past that point. You know, it wouldn't surprise me. I'm sure if you look up cutting room floor, I'm sure they will list all the differences, or at least a lot of them. There's probably some that they missed, because Konami would like that. No, I can't find one. Cannot find... No, I can't find a decent password. See, if I could find one that just gave me more lives or something, it'd be useful. You know, I've got to be honest, I don't think I want to play this anymore. But I will, just to torture myself. For the sake of everything else. Last is continues to remain. Well, yeah, I got no idea. Because I think I remember what the password is. Let's try something out. Try 2, and then 9. Great. Fine. Okay, is there a way to get pattern in this? I don't think there is. Sorry, I'm having a look on how you're supposed to do it. Because there is an FAQ. See, I mean, you shouldn't have to get an FAQ for the first boss. I'm just saying. Like, you know, at least I'm glad to be getting a lot of, like, my least favourite games out of the way today. Like, there is that. But I also shouldn't have to play these in the first place. You know, like, I think I'm realising why I skipped all of these games on Game Boy Filler now. It's because I didn't want to play them in the first place. Well, it's tempting. But I got an idea. Keep my distance. Nope, and he goes for a different pattern because he's a git. Also, there's no run button, so... It's like, okay, what am I supposed to do there? Literally impossible. Okay, so watch him do like a different pattern in this one. Yep, totally does a different pattern. God, fucking Mega Man 1 had easier boss fights than this. Because at least in Mega Man 1, you didn't die in 2 hits. You know, I think Pac-Man World is easier than this, because at least in that one, if you die, you get to just retry it a whole bunch of times. Okay, like, the boss doesn't just run straight to you in that one. Yeah. So, I think that just about sums it up. Like, if anyone ever got past that bit legitimately, I feel bad for them they had to waste their time playing this piece of shit. Great. Bro, what does this do? Okay, I literally have no idea what it did. Let me guess, here's, like, the second boss, which is also going to be impossible. Oh, wow, and they actually share the same health bar. You know what, Hezbollah, go fuck yourself. You know what? No. Okay, I have seen that game play to completion, but only through liberal abuse of save states. Actually, you know what? Just out of interest, what are the differences between this and the Japanese version? Because that might actually be important. See, the problem is, so for the purposes of this list, so we're ranking the American version of the game. Like, Rockman, the different versions are exactly the same as far as gameplay goes. Like, if I had the Japanese version of this game, and I was to rank that, it would probably end up being quite a bit different. Unfortunately, I wasn't given that version of the game, so this is the one I'm stuck with. Yeah, so it's just, okay, you have infinite continues. Not that you would want to use them on this game, but you do have them. Yeah. So yeah, it's about it. So I'm pretty sure the bosses are just as bullshit no matter what version you play. So, yeah, not really worth the time of day. It's just, you know, I've one way to sum up this game. You are scum. Cowabunga. Cow a fucking piece of dog shit. This game is diarrhea coming out of my dick. This game is as appealing as a dirty infested motherfucking sewer rat shit. I've had more fun playing with dog turds. This game is as appealing... Okay, let me, you know, this game isn't even worth the full speech. Okay, let me sum it up like this. It sucking fucks, it fucking sucks, it fucking blows, it's a piece of shit. I don't like it. But where does it go on this list? Yeah. Well, it's definitely not as good as Super Mario World 7. You know, I can say that pretty confidently. It's worse than Crystal Quest. It's definitely worse than Boomer's Adventure in Asbic World, because, you know, I can make some progress in that one. It's worse than Ishido The Way of Stones. It's definitely worse than Flipple and Exciting Cube Game. It's worse than Dead Heat Scramble. It's worse than Xenon 2 Mecha Blast, because again, I could make some actual progress in that game. It wasn't very well made, but I could at least get somewhere in that. It's worse than Castlevania The Adventure. Like, Castlevania The Adventure is also difficult, but it was at least difficult in a way where it's like they had different design philosophies behind them. Castlevania The Adventure, I think, was kind of held back more by the limitations of the hardware format and the technical expertise that the development team had when they made that game. You know, they didn't really know what they were doing with the hardware because it was 1989. But this was 1993, and they really should have known better by this point. And it's not like an issue of performance or anything like that. You move faster, you know, game looks and sounds... Well, it certainly looks better than Castlevania The Adventure, though I'd say the soundtrack in that game was better. I think where this game really falls apart is just being unnecessarily difficult to the point that it sucks out all the fun of the game. In fact, in a sense, it's very similar to these Megaman games down here. It's on a similar level to these games, if anything. It's definitely worse than the Castlevania games. But is it worse than Megaman Dr. Wily's Revenge? I mean, it moves faster than that game. But I feel like in both cases, you kind of have to brute force the games with passwords. But at least, you know, in Mega Man, there's more fun to be had from using the additional weapons. And, yeah, from what I remember of this game, the extra abilities you get from the other turtles don't really do much. You know, and unlike the first game on the NES, you don't even get separate health bars or anything that would have been remotely useful. Like, they couldn't even program that into the game. So, yeah, it's just very half-assed in terms of, like, in certain places. It's like the game cuts corners in weird places that make it arbitrarily difficult in ways that it really shouldn't be. I mean, the game is hard anyway. I mean, the boss fights are next to impossible. I mean, I'm sure there are people out there that can do it, but... Yeah, actually, I want to see, okay, how many people can actually beat this game? If you'll let me look. Because I want a second opinion. Or like a 1,000 opinions, or however many people played this game. Yeah, so... Let's see. So, yeah, 906... Okay, I'm just having a look at this out of interest. So, 906 people played this game. 84 people beat the first boss. Out of no. Yeah, so if we're talking like... Okay. Of the 906 people who played this game, less than 10% of them beat the first boss. And I think that says a lot about this game. That most people didn't even play it beyond that point. You know, like, very few people played it beyond that point. Very few people did anything of interest. And, I mean, most people didn't even unlock a single turtle. Like, and I think that says a lot. Like, I think the retro achievements page... Because, like, with Mega Man 1, as bad as Mega Man 1 is as a game, especially compared to the NES game, I was at least willing to persevere far enough to get a couple of levels into it. Like, both Mega Man 1 and 3, I can at least say I played a few levels into those games. I got something out of them. And I can't say that for this. And... You know, the fact that very few people actually made any progress in this game, I think that shows just how unnecessarily hard the game is. Because there is a great game hiding in this, and it's just never realised, because they were so focused on making the game stupidly hard that they forgot to make it remotely worth playing or fun, and it ruins it. I don't know, it's like, could have been great, but is ruined by just being way too difficult. And again, I don't think it's a me problem. I think it is a problem with the game. Because again, like, you know, way more people have beaten levels in Mega Man on Game Boy than this game. Like, because I checked the stats on that. And people certainly had more patience for Mega Man Dr. Wily's Revenge. Including me. As much as I dislike that game, I think I respect it more than this game. So I think it goes below the Mega Man games. As much as I don't value those very much, as much as I think they should have been a lot better than they were, I think this is actually a bigger waste of potential, because this could have been the great Ninja Turtles Metroidvania, and they fucked it up. It's a shame. You know, it controls well. You know, and the actual level designs seem to be okay. It's just... Yeah, it's... Yeah, because, I mean, hell, like, nearly half of the people who played you know, got the Thunder Beam on hardcore mode in the first game. That says a lot. I'd rather play that shit Porta Palamedes over this. I'd rather play Amida. I'd rather play the fucking Mackinsoft Super Donkey Kong 3 game. Like, you know what? Like, this game is more BS than Escape from Camp Deadly, so it's worse than that. It is worse than Escape from Camp Deadly. But is it worse than Monster Truck? That's a hard one. Because Monster Truck controls a lot worse, presentation is worse. But again, I could make progress in it. Same for Trump Boy, same for Ride You Know. I would rather play NFL football. Because again, NFL football, I could at least get a second person to play it with me. And I'd probably get more fun out of that. It's worse than Pre-Pre. Yeah, I'd rather play Pre-Pre over this. I feel like I'd get more out of playing... Because the only way I would ever play Ninja Turtles 3 is if I had save states ready. That's the only way I play this. Playing this on the real Game Boy, it can go fuck itself. So it's worse than Pre-Pre. I would rather play that. It's worse than Tasmania 2. Tasmania 2 is fundamentally broken, but actually... Is it worse than Tasmania 2? Tasmania 2 is pretty fucking broken, actually. Because, you know what? The attacks in that game just don't work. You know, you get to use the spin move for 10 seconds, and the thing never charges up properly. And you got the projectile attacks with the bosses, and if you run out, you have to die. The bosses in this game are less broken. They're just, again, unnecessarily hard. They're not broken like Tasmania 2's bosses are. So it's on that metric, it's better than Tasmania 2, but barely. Oh, hold on. Let me fix this. Okay, if we bring the list back up. Yeah, okay, so here we are. Ninja Turtles 3, The Radical Rescue. Officially the worst Konami game on this list. I can't believe I found a Konami game worse than NFL, but we found it, and its name is The Radical Rescue. I mean, it's the most radically awful rescue I've ever seen, I can say that. But hey, we do have one more game on this cartridge, so it's got one last chance to redeem itself. But I get the feeling we'll come away thinking that... Yeah, come away thinking that, you know, V-Rally is the best game. But hey, it is time to experience the best of the best. Yeah, it's really bizarre the way this list is going so far. Like, it's amazing just how bad the Konami games are on this list. Like, if you'd have told me when I started this project that Konami had several of the worst games, I would not have believed you. And yet, here we are. You know, Tasmania 2... Oh no, Ninja Turtles 3, one of the worst games on Game Boy. V-Rally, one of the best games on Game Boy. Same for RoboCop. But, okay. It is time to play best of the best on the Game Boy. From Beam Software, the makers of Tasmania 2, so, high hopes. I mean, it can't be as bad as the last game, surely. Well, congratulations to Megaman for not being the worst game I've played today. Wait, is the music actually working this time? I remember this didn't work. Or, like, the game worked and the music didn't. It was a bit weird. So yeah, Tom and Jerry, yeah, I think this, this runs on the same engine, I think, as the Tasmania game. It's made by Beam Software, so kind of makes sense. So, yeah. So, in some ways, it's similar to that game, but it's a little bit different. Weirdly enough, you don't seem to have an attack in this one, or maybe you get one later and I just forgot. But there's a Game Boy Color version of this? I wasn't aware of that. Might have to look that up at some point. Also, yeah, the camera's a bit odd in this one. It's like you're slightly off towards the edge of the screen, which is not great. Also, yeah, there are some leaps of faith. As you can see, you kind of have to know what's coming a little bit. You think this game is subpar? I don't know. You know, I reckon this might be a little bit better than the Ninja Turtles game, at least. I mean, I haven't come across some impossibly stupid boss yet, so it's one point in its favour. Also, you get like 5 seconds of invulnerability time when you take damage, so there is that. Oh, oops. Make it to the platform. Okay. Yeah, the inertia in this is weird. Oh! Okay. Is the game let me move out of the way there? Yeah, I've got to calm myself down a bit with some cheese. Oh! Okay, the thing just went blue on my end for a second. That wasn't a fault of the game, that was just my TV. Hey, at least they got the not the Ninja Turtles theme, the Tom and Jerry theme. That's just like the upset Tom face on the left. It's pretty good. Well, this is already better than the Tasmania game. But yeah, there were 2 of these Tom and Jerry games on Game Boy, I think. And I think they were both done by Beam Software. Oh. Okay, for some reason, flowers hurt you. I don't really get that. Oh! Oh, that's right, yeah. If you hold down select, you can change the camera, which, actually, to be fair, is useful. Though why flowers hurt you, I have no idea. That's just weird. I can't think of any other game like that, actually. Okay, so you can move the screen about. Okay, I don't know how you avoid that. Okay, let's avoid the... Why do flowers kill Jerry anyway? That's weird. Ugh, trying to jump. You won't do it. There we go. Oh. Okay, I don't know what happened there. You like, fell over and died. Like, did I crash into that thing in the background, or was that just a background object? I couldn't even tell. Also, sometimes the music just starts doing this. I never figured it out. So, like, do the items actually do anything? I guess cheese, you collect a bunch of it and you get an extra life, but beyond that, I don't know. Oh, that's right, yeah, you can hold up. Though how you meant to hit Tom without taking damage, I don't know. Also, yeah, I ran out of projectiles, great. No! Why is there a limited supply of projectiles? Did they not learn anything from the Tasmania game? But actually, this might have been before that game, to be fair. Maybe that's why. Are those spiky things in the background? Are they instant death? I literally can't tell. Ugh! Okay, so those do damage you. I can't even tell what they're supposed to be. They just look like plants. Why plants hurt you in this? I have no idea. Like, was there, like, a cartoon short where Jerry got killed by plants that I forgot about? So I don't remember that one. Also, great being hit by background objects I can't even see. Because they just look like part of the background. Yeah, I don't get the threats in this. That really makes sense. Yeah, like, okay, how am I meant to avoid that? Because you can't run past the, because you can't run past the bin, even though it looks like you should be able to, you can't. You just gotta crash into it. Okay, maybe there's something off to the left. I don't trust this game, though. I mean, it's Beam Software. I do not trust Australians. It's one thing I've learned from... Yeah. One thing I've learnt in terms of life lessons in general, after that Tasmania game, do not trust them. I mean, given how much they respect Tasmania, I can only imagine what they think about the UK. Like, what even happened there? It's like, okay, I had health points left, but the game was like, no. Or no, like, what even is the health system? I thought the hearts were my health. But no, the hearts are something else. Also, you have, like, limited hit points. Or not hit points, but, like... Yeah, it's like very obfuscated. But yeah, like, you notice I can't run past this bin, even though it looks like I should be able to. Also, there's like, yeah. But just like Megaman, there's like some weird inertia that just makes it unnecessarily hard to avoid things. I'm like, what's going on here? It's like, yeah. Okay, we're gonna give you a weapon, but it's so useless it doesn't actually hit anything. Like, okay, like, it's about as useful as, like, the stick in Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Yeah, see, this is why all Tom and Jerry games should just have you playing as Tom the whole time. Best of the Best gets a free pass because that game is the best of the best. I'm not so sure about this one. I mean... Yeah. Has anyone ever beaten level 2 of this? You know, it's like I was saying with some of the other games today. Like, level 2 should not be this hard. And also, like, any game where a sunflower is an enemy is probably not to be trusted. Yeah, like, I literally have no idea how you dodge that. As far as I'm aware, it's impossible. Also, I love when weapons just miss the thing that you're trying to hit. And don't actually hit anything at all. Okay, so what is the point of these objects? Because I can throw them, but they don't actually do anything. Even if I hit an enemy with it, it doesn't actually... It doesn't damage them. I mean, say what you want about, like, the blue balls attack in Best of the Best. At least it was an attack. This doesn't even have that. Also, I was trying to jump there and refuse because he was git. Yeah, I can kind of see why I didn't play this one for more than 5 minutes now. Okay, jumping on hill... Okay, this is a common problem with a lot of platformers from around this time, where they're programmed in such a way that when you're running down a hill, sometimes when you press the jump button, it doesn't jump. Because the game detects that you're in mid-air on the frame that you press the jump button, and so it just doesn't jump. Yeah, like that. Like, I hit him that time and it didn't do anything. So what gives? But yeah, it's quite hard to make the jumps just because the inertia's so weird. Like I keep missing really easy jumps, like... I don't know. Don't know what that does. I mean, to be fair, the, because there's no music during gameplay, that's just an issue with the multicart, I think. That's not a problem with the game, to be fair. So I got an extra life. Not that it helps, because, you know, there are no checkpoints in this game. Oh, no, I have to... I can't just walk off to the right. Okay. I did it. Hooray, I beat a level. Okay. Okay, so I've lost all my projectiles again. Wonderful. Okay, let's... You know, this is just, like, a theme for today. This is making me miss Tom and Jerry Best of the Best. I wish I was playing that right now. Great, and I can't even get past that bit. Okay, where am I supposed to go? Can I climb? No. I was thinking, yeah, maybe I can climb up this. No, you have to go through it like that. Okay, that's just weird. Well, at least it works. Unlike some of the stuff I've come across today. Okay, let's get to the next house. Great, a nice little leap of faith there. Wonderful. So you just have to pray there isn't an enemy in the spot that you're jumping to. Yeah, see, if this was Best of the Best, I could just, like... I could just throw balls at these things and kill them. That would have been cool. Also, like, what even is this animation? Like, it's just constantly kicking a single leg forward. Like, that doesn't look right. Yeah, I can't even hit an enemy. Like, I literally cannot... I don't think I've hit a single thing in this entire game. Okay. So... Okay, is the exit always on the right end of the level, or do I have to go up? Not sure. Well, I got some time at least. Okay. Well, there is something to this. You know. Like, I'll give this game this. I've played worse. Including today, I think. Like, I'd take this over the SNES Tom and Jerry game at least. Because that game is awful. Just, like, incompetent rubbish. Like, this at least feels more competent compared to that game. I mean, at least the presentation is kind of okay. I mean, again, the lack of in-game music, that's just a fault of the multicart, I think. That's not necessarily a fault of the game. Also, that time I touched a flower and didn't take damage. I don't know what happened there. Did I just get lucky with the hit detection, or... Those are mouse traps, obviously. Oh, no! Great, I have to go up. Thanks. I couldn't just put the exit there. Okay, like, where am I even supposed to go? Okay, like, where is a giant NES console when I need it? I mean, like, okay, being able to move the screen around like this, it's helpful in some places, but certainly not all of them. Because there are some parts where you just do these giant leaps of faith, and it doesn't really help there. Also, it doesn't help when, like, because the controls in this are not good. Like, again, there's just, like, this weird inertia that just makes it far more difficult than necessary to land the jumps. I gotta be honest, I think Tasmania 2 had... I think it controlled better than this. Like, I can actually turn around better in that one. It's like, we made the game too easy, what do we do? Just make the controls worse. And of course you get bounced off the platform because the game designer was a piece of shit. Like, okay, why even have the flower in the game anyway? It's silly. It's like, okay, it's hard enough just to land on the platform, let alone, like, not get knocked off the thing by a killer plant. Okay, if I wanted to get killed by a plant, I'd play fucking Megaman 6. Like, look at that. Like, oh, we're gonna make the platform, like, 2 blocks wide so you miss it. And the fact that you can't just go to the right and end the level, that's a problem. For a game like this, where it feels like you should be able to. So, okay, well, where am I supposed to go? Like, you know, again, if this game had better controls or level design, it wouldn't be a problem. And of course, they couldn't bother to program checkpoints. It's kind of funny, because I was making fun of the Mega Man games earlier for having too few checkpoints. But at least they had checkpoints. This doesn't even do that. It's like, no, checkpoints would have been too much effort. Okay, we're the schmucks that made the fucking Tasmania game. What do you expect us to do? Make a decent thing? You're right. I mean, we already made Back to the Future Part 2 and 3. Think we have any sense of standards? There we go. So it's like you have to let go of the D-pad there. But no, I think I figured it out actually. I figured out the problem with the level design in particular. It's just very asinine. It's like I can't just go around the side of these fences to get to the next house. There's like, okay, we've got several houses that you have to go to. Except for some reason we're just gonna make it. It's like, okay, you've got these first two houses which are completely pointless. Because they don't really have any bearing on anything. And it's like, you've got these various collectibles that don't actually do anything. Like, again, thinking back to Tom and Jerry Best of the Best. Like, a lot of the items had some kind of purpose. You know, it's like, you know, it's like you had projectile attacks. You had things like... Was it, you know, you had items that had, like, specific uses, like drilling through walls. Or, you know, using like a bubble so that you could get to the next section. You know, or you could like skip areas if you know what you're doing. Yeah, I'm just gonna tank a hit here, and then just like there. Like if I'd have just dashed forward there, I would have fallen off. And of course they have an enemy there that you can't kill. Because your quote-unquote attack doesn't do anything. It's like they were trying to do Mario-style controls and failed. That's what this feels like. And of course you like fall off a platform the instant you touch anything deadly. But yeah, like, asinine is the word to describe this level. Just design-wise. Oh. Wait, did the game crash? I think it crashed. Well, I think that's about as fitting an ending as any. It's about all this game deserves, I think. So yeah, that is Tom and Jerry for Game Boy. Do you think it's best of the best? Gotta be honest, I don't think it is. You know, I think, you know, it's no V-Rally Championship Edition. It's certainly no Super Mario Land. You know, it's worse than Pinball Revenge of the Gator. It's worse than Super Mario World 7. It's definitely worse than Boomer's Adventure in Asmic World. It's worse than Dead Alien. It's definitely worse than Power Racer. I mean, as much as Head On hasn't stood the test of time, you could also say that for this game. But then again, saying it stood the test of time is implying that people liked it in the first place. People liked Head On when it came out. No one cared about this game, I don't think. It's worse than Xenon 2 Mecha Blast. It's definitely worse than Castlevania The Adventure. Castlevania The Adventure had better level design. It was, like, the controls were slow, but at least you could make the... You know, there wasn't some weird inertia that made it unnecessarily hard to do. It's definitely worse than Mega Man Dr. Wily's Revenge, because at least with that game, you had attacks, and they did things. You could kill enemies in that game, and it worked. It had a password system. So it's worse than that. But is it worse than Super Donkey Kong 3? Yes. Super Donkey Kong 3, again, the attacks in that game actually worked, and you could actually defeat enemies in it. You had the Animal Buddy, which was nice to have. You had, like, swimming mechanics that worked. Like, there were just fundamentals that are just missing from this game. Like, this game just doesn't work. You know, like Super Donkey Kong 3 is a bad game, but at least it works. And this doesn't. It's not worse than Escape from Camp Deadly, though. I think I would play this over that. Or at least a working version of it, where the music and the, you know, game doesn't crash or whatever. I would play this over Escape from Camp Deadly, but not by much. It's definitely better than Radical Rescue. Like, it is at least playable. You know, it wasn't made to be impossible. Like, okay, Tom and Jerry is... like, its playability issues are, I think, more down to incompetence. Radical Rescue is definitely a design of malice. Like, that is absolutely the way that game was designed. Like, that is a malicious game. I don't usually mark games down for just being hard, but, you know, I'll make an exception for that one because fuck that game. I can't imagine anyone actually wanting to play that game for more than, like, half an hour. And, like, 15 of those minutes at least are just banging their head against the first boss. But yeah, it's been an especially bad selection of games today. I do apologise for today's stream, for my voice, for the selection of games. You know, it's nice to get a lot of these games out of the way, though. But, I mean, you look at... so far, it's been amazing just how bad the Game Boy Killer games have been. There will be better ones. But with the exception of V-Rally, like, today has just been particularly bad. I don't know what it is. Like, there was something in the water when, you know, the development teams made these games. It's just... well, you know, I can say this. The only way is up from this point. There is no way that any stream after this can possibly have a set of games as bad as this, you know. When you have Megaman 1, Megaman 3, Tom and Jerry, and Radical Rescue, you're not beating that in terms of lack of quality. It's just, you know. And, you know, I don't think I can discredit Ocean ever again after this stream. Ocean was the single redeeming part. Other than, I guess, Mega Man 2 to some extent, but... yeah, like Ocean, you know, I owe them an apology. Because they gave us the only really good game this stream. But like I say, next time there will be better games, I promise. I will do Mega Man 4 and 5 at some point. I don't want to do it right now because no. I mean, they have to be better than these two games, surely. Talking fate up there, aren't I? Anyway. Yeah, hopefully I'll be back next week with some better games to rank. Like, I mean, look at this. Amazing Spider-Man. No, that Penguin Land isn't number 100. Actually, that's not too bad of a 100, actually. It's only a lot better than, you know, Versus Battler ever was, but... but, like, most of the games I've played today didn't even make the top 100 at all. That says everything. Out of 130 games, most of them are ranked down here. But anyway, enough mewling. I will let you get on with your evening. Hopefully I'll be back with another midweek stream, and hopefully my voice will be back to normal by then. So until then, enjoy your evening and take care. See you.